Oh, it's you. I'm so glad you've come. I was so worried you wouldn't. I wanted to thank everybody for coming on this live stream. I only had 500 followers, so I had to find someone with a little more reach to get my message across. Just so everyone is aware, this will be a full spoiler discussion of The Batman. So if you have not seen the movie, we will be covering all topics, be talking about all plot points. So keep it civil in the chat. If you want to get your question or your theory on air, then please hit us with a super chat for any dollar amount. Although a homicidal maniac might not be best suited to host a live stream discussion, I suppose I'll kick it over Sean Tank Top and the rest of the gang. Thank you for coming by. I still may drop in periodically. This has been the Riddler.
What's going on, sweetheart? How's it going, everybody?
Hey. I like that this turned into a dodo video at the end.
It turned into a well. The thing was, it's like, listen, it's like you can only have like a psychotic serial killer, like type of thing to open your show. I had to kind of like hit it with a little bit of pale cold water just to get us back into like a lighthearted discussion about a couple of very dark.
We didn't know
characters.
any of that at all. We're just.
I'm dying.
Oh my god. Anyway, how's it going, everybody? I am Sean Tank Top over here. I'm chilling out at Casa Tank Top, but I'm also chilling on the internets over here, and I'm hanging with my very good friends. I got myself Dustin and Morgan Drace, or like they like to be called, Johnny Slick and Sweet Hot over here. How y'all doing?
Hey,
whoa! What are you showing me here? Whoa!
We're in very apparently people are in we're very big fans of the Penguin over here, and the kind of the gabagoolness of going full soprano and stuff like that over here. But how's it going, Drace? How you feeling?
Whew. Morgan is fully lost her mind this weekend. She's in full bat. She had seen it not once, not twice, 3 times. She saw it Friday. We saw it again Sunday.
Oh my god!
And then she saw it again this morning.
That's incredible. I mean, hey, if you got to check out a Batman, you got to check out a Batman for sure. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on over. But also, it's not just us. Just like any other great like Batman affair, we have ourselves a touch of the rogues gallery of our own that we're going to be bringing in over here. And one very special guest that we have, you know them, you love them. They're one of the I love the Normies. I enjoy all of them. I like Chris, Marquetta, fucking Suraj, everybody. But like the one that if I was gonna come to for like some really sound advice and stuff like that, it would be our friend Navi, aka Nerdy Navi from the Normies over there. How you doing over there, dear?
I'm doing wonderful. That was a wonderful introduction. I loved it.
I mean, we try not to tell any tales over here. I mean, we know that, like, I remember the thing that stood out to me the most, other than like the great reactions that we were putting out simultaneously, like kind of when we met each other during Game of Thrones, when that was kind of like season 7 and 8 and stuff like that. I remember you firing up the book club on the Normies channel and stuff like that, and which I thought was really, really cool. And like, again, just not letting, it's like, listen, it's a reaction channel, but we're going to be broadening a bunch of horizons and stuff like that. So I thought that was always something that I really loved, that it seemed like you spearheaded. I mean, is it fair to call you the bookworm of the group?
Yes, I mean, yeah, that's fair. I haven't been as much a bookworm as I was before, but yeah, I think Marquetta has taken that throne.
Right. Oh, I got you for sure. But we're gonna be talking about the Batman with Navi and everything like that. So everybody give me a nice little, like, throw up some ones in the chat if you're happy to see Navi over there. It's really, really good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us, my dear. And we also have one of my favorite people, one of our favorite collaborators over here. We got ourselves, you know her, you love her. She likes to get paid to fight people on the internet, but also just like a great friend and a lovely human being. We got ourselves Maddie K. Ray, aka
I am vengeance.
Yes.
Oh my god. Especially in like Twitter Gotham, right? You know what I mean? Like especially. How you doing over there, Maddie?
I am having a great day. I've been going since 6 a.m. I worked like 12 hours at work. I came home. I did a job interview for a thing I'm really stoked about, and now I'm here. I had a little insanity break. Just a little bit, as you can see. I was like, I'm gonna do Batman makeup for this stream, and I decided that literally 5 minutes before I showed up. And so I like was furiously eyelinering, which I think is how he does it, right? You know, like this man doesn't know. This man has never watched a makeup tutorial in his life. He doesn't know anything about anything. Like
100%
there. But did you do it? Did you play Nirvana while you were doing it?
I'm gonna say something in the way.
I was born playing Nirvana. Listen. I'm sorry to make people feel old. I was born the day Kurt Cobain was found dead. So I would argue that Nirvana lives in my soul, in my spirit, and my marrow.
I saw Nirvana as my first concert, so just saying.
So we are old.
We're running, so
I feel old.
We're running a full spectrum of stuff over here. So
yes,
I just thank you everybody for joining us and stuff like that. I'm super stoked to get into this stuff. Just so everybody knows, even though if you guys missed the like, I don't know, I'd say a pretty hauntingly great portrayal of the Riddler and everything like that over there, even though I'm totally joking. But if you missed what the Riddler said, we're doing a full spoiler discussion, y'all. Just so if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want anything spoiled, we are going to talk about a lot of different stuff. I mean, like, we're not going to go beat for beat through the whole movie, obviously, because that would be a fool's errand, because that movie is gargantuanly long. But we are going to be talking about a bunch of different plot points, and if you don't want to get spoiled, just make sure that, like, go see the movie, come back, and then you can kind of like hang out and listen to the live stream. Yeah, we'll see you in 3 hours. We'll see you in like the content will still be here, so y'all can do that shit for sure. What I figure we would do is to, I think that just to go through the generalities of what we thought about this Batman picture that we got over here. The Batman's directed by Matt Reeves. I think it was written and directed by Matt Reeves. Was it written by anybody else?
Co-wrote it, yeah.
Okay, I got you for sure. And so I don't know. Let's lead with Navi, a guest of honor. We have this is her first time on the channel and stuff like that. So I figure we'll let her lead with that. Oh, and also, if you guys want to get any question, comment, or concern or anything like that, or to fight Maddie in the chat or whatever it is, hit us.
I'm ready to fight.
Are you ready to
Morgan,
fight?
Let's go.
Oh my God.
Morgan. For $300, Morgan and I will fight each other.
Oh my God.
I just came here to fight.
That's where. That's what, blue versus green, day versus night.
The Joker versus Batman.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. No, so but if you guys want to hit us with it, make sure that you guys get like a question or like a theory or something like that. You want to make sure that we address it like in the chat, because we can't scan every single thing that goes on through the chat, because we always love you guys keeping it lit in chat. Hit us with a super chat. That is how we are American as fuck. We are capitalist, and we respond to you waving a couple of dollars. I will dance for my cracker if you guys throw a couple of dollars at us. So, this is it right now. It's setting a good example. We got the Big Appa over there. Has Batman's Bruce Wayne changed Morgan's mind on billionaires that they don't give money to the needy?
I'm not on record saying they don't give their money to the needy.
Mm-hmm.
But in this, the thesis of this movie, I love, like, that's kind of what they were exploring.
Right.
Where they were
reckoning with it, I would say.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think that's good.
When that much power and that much money is access to one man,
it kind of messes up the world, because men are like a single person can be fallible when there's no checks and balances. I'll get into it.
We'll talk about that.
But yes, they got that is like one of the central like things.
It's a big. I think it's a big theme within the movie for sure, as far as like the Batman mythos and everything like that. So, but yeah, so hit us up in the super chat if you guys want to make sure that you guys get your hat in the ring. If we don't name check it and we don't pick it up right when you guys send it, we will make a note of it and we'll get to it towards the end of the stream. So, I guess let's just go. We'll start with the general thoughts, and then we will get to the next super chat that's over there. Thanks. Shout out to Suck. Shout out to Big Appa. But let's just talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about our general thoughts about this here program, this here movie. Navi, what were your general thoughts about the Batman?
Well, first of all, I will say that I've now seen this movie 3 times, so I don't have that big of thoughts.
Sure.
But overall,
no thoughts, only vibes.
The DC movie, I actually went with low expectations because I have been disappointed with the other movies before. But I thought it did really, really well. Robert Pattinson, he did an amazing job. I know him as Cedric Diggory and then him as Edward Cullen, so he jumped quite a bit.
Right.
He played a Batman. It was a very horror themed Batman compared to what we have seen before. I haven't read a lot of comics, but I've read enough comics to know my way around it. So it did take a lot of comics things in it that it kept true to some of the horror thriller suspense animated series comic vibe. I enjoyed it. I would say it's like it stands true to the Dark Knight Return. I believe a lot of people are saying it's better than that, like better than Dark Knight.
Are you talking about better than the Nolan films?
Yeah, Christian Bale's.
The Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan. The guy that's the guy directed it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't think it topped that. I think I don't think it did that great of a job, but it was well done.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I can get more nitty gritty into some of the criticism, but it did good.
No. I think that's what we get. We get into that shit all the time over there. We're always poking the fucking internet bear, just being like, yeah, like I wasn't that crazy about that Star Wars thing, and then people are just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like or whatever. So it's all good. Don't worry. No shame over here. People are allowed to like a thing. People are also allowed to not like a thing as much or to even dislike a thing, and that's all cool as long as everybody keeps it copacetic in the thing and all over there in the chat. Maddie. You got the done up over there, so I figured we got to go over to you. What did you think about this here movie? What did you think about the Batman?
Loved it. I'm going to take an opposite position of Navi and say I think that it's better than the Nolanverse for a lot of reasons. Hey, that's okay. That's okay. I think that it does exceed the Nolanverse films, and I think it's because of this like obsession with grimdark that the Nolan films created, and how that just completely saturated pop culture in a way that I thought was really like disingenuous and also like completely missing the point. And so I like the way that this grittiness and this darkness is also a vehicle to shed light on a lot of the issues of Batman, like we were talking about, like the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Like I think that it weaponizes that grimdark to tell a really important story, and I'm very, very about it.
Sure.
I'm here for weaponized cinema only. Only.
we need it weaponized for sure.
Yes.
As long as it's not a gun, then we can weaponize it, right?
Exactly.
Like in true Batman form.
Just loading my my like Lost box set. Like, let's go weaponize cinema.
There we go. Awesome. Oh, I love that. Dustin, Morgan, what did you guys think over there in House Strays?
Well, I'm going to speak for Morgan because Morgan hated it.
Yeah,
she didn't like it at all, right?
Loved it the first 2 times. Saw it the 3rd time. I'm like, actually, this movie's a piece of shit.
And then it totally fucking cratered after that.
The camera's out of focus half the time.
Right.
Well, you know anything about us? You know that we're notorious. We don't even like Batman.
Oh, we hate Batman.
Yeah.
I am on record as hating Batman as a concept. I think he's garbage.
Oh, really?
I think he's trash. Yes, absolutely. I am like full team Diana Prince swooping in and saying you're no longer allowed to mentor children.
Oh my God.
Like I want her to beat his ass so bad for the way he treats kids. Like so irresponsible. This motherfucker takes like 12-year-olds and dresses them up in bright colors and parades them around criminals. Like, yes, this is a great idea. Shoot at the kid, not at me.
It's an amazing idea.
It's a terrible idea.
The best idea. Like their whole goal is to be a target. They bounce around because they're circus performers.
True.
Genius.
Oh, genius.
There we go.
To go first on your general thought.
Oh. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I'm in the camp that I think I'm gonna go. This trumps the Nolan stuff for me. All right, I'm a big Matt Reeves fan. I think this is awesome, and I love the campy stuff. So it's hard. Like I don't even know. I still haven't figured out my rankings yet, but I'm just so excited we got a Batman that feels like Batman, whereas Nolan's Batman didn't really feel like Batman to me. It just felt like it was just fun to watch. And this was, I love Batman in this.
Yeah.
Sure.
And for me, it's like, I'm of this certain age where like my Batman, my formative Batman was Tim Burton's Returns. And that has my heart, that has my soul. That's like
deeply good formative Batman. That is a great formative Batman.
Right.
Yes.
I'm like when they were like, no, well, 89 is a masterpiece, and Returns was it's cute, and like I was always told that as a child, and I'm like, you guys are out of your mind. Like, and I'm to this day, I'm like, no, Returns is my number one always, and then following it up with the animated series, it's how I got into like animation. So this movie, like, it just has completely taken over my brain because when you're a kid, Batman's cool, you just like him, you don't really like dissect why.
Right.
And as I got older, I'm like, why do I even like Batman? He's this rich guy that punches like people instead of getting them help. Like,
he's a billionaire who literally beats up on the mentally ill. Like,
yeah. And I've read like comics where they go into that and stuff. Sure. But like as a general vibe, it's like, and I'm like, oh, it's because of the Rogues Gallery. That's why I like him. And then I see this movie and I'm like, do I actually like Batman? And I'm like, no, I really like. In this movie, all I want to do is hang out with Batman and see what Batman is doing. And I've never had that.
I actually agree 100% with that. Yes,
that is something
absolutely.
As a guy who's done, we like on our Patreon, we have a podcast called Batman versus Everyone, an exclusive podcast that you get by hitting up if you hit us up on our Patreon, which you guys should do, by the way. For that to have passed your lips, Morgan, that you want to hang out with Batman is like an enormous feat.
From your lips,
I was shocked.
I support this.
No, and like that's why I feel like this movie trumps, like, I don't know, I get why people like Nolan's, because I'm sorry, like, yeah, The Dark Knight is like such a good movie.
Yes.
So it's like, if that's your stuff, like I totally understand the Nolan people, like, so I'm not trying to like, this is just very, very personal to my own tastes.
Right.
Where it's very rooted in Returns and like this animated series and the fact that he made the nightclub look like the nightclub in Batman Beyond.
Oh, that's true. There's some Batman Beyond shit for sure. Absolutely.
I'm sorry. This movie had everything for me. So yeah, no, I hated it.
Before we get going, we'll hit up a couple super chats before we get into it. What the fuck is it? We got a Bruce Wayne over here who looks at this. Thank you, sir. If you have we appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. If you have a question, like, or whatever, like what
do you want to talk about? What do you want us to talk about? We'll do it.
Shout it out.
You're allowed to call me ugly if you want.
There we go. Yeah, right.
I will hunt you down and beat your ass if you do it, but you're allowed to do it.
Or no, dude, you can internet spit in my mouth like if you're gonna throw $100 at me, dude. That's totally fine, man. It's all good. No, like, but no, but thank you very much for who looks at this. That means the world. Again, if dude, hit us up with throw fucking any question, anything like that you want to talk about in the chat. We will absolutely do that. I'm liking this nice little smorgasbord. And again, I always seem to find myself, I don't mean to be the centrist. I don't mean to be that wishy-washy CNN bullshit fucking take or whatever it is. But I gotta say, I saw a tweet, and this is this is ridiculous. But I saw a tweet that I thought it really struck me. Like, as far as like It was one of those things where they said, and I guess it's because I guess like for most people, it is kind of the big thing is this movie or The Dark Knight is kind of like the central, I mean, and everybody's got their own favorite Batman and shit like that. And people like I adore the Tim Burton ones and all that stuff. But like the central kind of like thing is like, is this better than The Dark Knight? And I think this one guy, this one person on Twitter, they tweeted out and they said, they're like, the Batman might not be the best movie with Batman in it, but it's the best Batman movie. As in like it getting the character and being really in tune with the character and the city of Gotham and just the whole kind of vibe.
I agree partially. I think that that a lot of like Batman's success has always been in his rogues gallery, in his villains, and I love that, you know, this villain was really good, really juicy, really made him ask questions, but like the internal nature of the movie in terms of like, you know, this is about Batman and Batman's story and the consequences of his story and his actions and his inaction, even because he like they even talk about the renewal project and how his disinterest in Wayne Enterprises directly led to the situation that occurred. Like he is responsible for all of it, and his character journey, realizing that and like stepping into Bruce in order to further his role as Batman, I think is a really valuable story that literally no one else has been interested in up to this point. Like The Dark Knight is cool, but The Dark Knight is cool because of the cinematography, the villain primarily, and the costume. Not even necessarily Bruce as a character, not even necessarily Batman as a character. I think it's purely like costume aesthetic and like every fucking thing Heath Ledger is doing out of his Batman mind. Like,
what you mean you don't like the Christian Bale Batman voice? Even though I don't know.
I mean, you can say in this one he barely was Bruce at all, so you can that one. Because he wasn't Bruce at all, there was a whole story to it, but he wasn't. He was just Batman. Like we didn't explore him being a Bruce, and hopefully after 2 years he can become a Bruce. But the thing with the Nolan movie is, and I think the one I keep going back to it, and I don't think you have to compare, but like there's a Batman that filling another shoes like of a like another actor filling another shoes of Batman. Right. So you're always gonna end up comparing them. It's like a Doctor Who. Like anytime you're gonna compare another Doctor.
Yes,
it's impossible.
Who's your Batman? Who's your Batman? What did you start with? Yeah.
Exactly. But in things like there was one villain. We knew like Joker was the whole thing. And the cinematography in this movie was amazing, actually. There were great scenes. Like the last scene, there were amazing scenes in there. Yeah. And I loved seeing all the villains. And I mean, spoilers. Yeah, the Riddler is the main villain there.
Oh, well, come on. Yeah. I mean, I think if like I had some, it was funny. The first comment in the live chat when I opened it up was just like, this one guy was like, no spoilers, man. And I was like, what are you doing here?
Why are you here?
I have smeared I've smeared spoilers all over every fucking thing that we've possibly done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that one, the one thing I loved about this Batman was like people who don't read comic books that often, this was a new villain for you. Yeah, like it wasn't like again we finding Joker. Everybody knows Joker, and I guess like one thing I was sad about in the end, like was. I guess we can
go for it. No. If they know that this is a spoiler, this is a spoiler discussion. Fuck them. Like if they're fucking stupid enough to be over there, they can. Right.
I kind of wanted it to be Two-Face, and
I wanted it to be Two-Face too. Yeah.
Yeah. So like when they showed the face, I was like, oh, it looks like Two-Face, right? Like it looks like a face is messed up, and then he said clown, and then people kept talking. I was like, "Oh, it's Joker."
He starts laughing like a hyena and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be Harvey Dent, but I recognized and I realized that Barry Keoghan, whatever how you say his name,
Kilbaggin, whatever.
Yeah.
He worked himself.
He would be wasted as Harvey Dent. I think he will be a phenomenal Joker. I really, really do.
I think he could be. I think
he'll be pretty good.
But I wanted it to be Harvey.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, like, I think that. Well, I mean, also like one of the DAs. I think the Stellan Skarsgård character is the one that gets killed, so that just paves the way that Harvey has to kind of come into the story. Whether or not he becomes Two-Face in the next movie, kind of remains to be seen. But like, Yeah, but in the other big thing about this movie that also kind of dawned on me, because I did see it. I saw it twice. I saw it twice in one day. I somehow got roped into.
Wow.
It was so Navi. It was so stupid. It was so fucking stupid. Like, it was just one of those things where I was
Sounds
kind of
amazing to me.
I was trying to kind of get people. I was trying to wrangle like two groups of friends like really wanted to go see it. I was trying to see if I could get them to go, but it was one of those things like where we wanted to go with the Draces, and we ended up going at like 11 in the morning, a little Batman brunch, which was like, chef's kiss, was very nice. We got something to eat afterwards. It was very nice. But then like another group of friends couldn't make that, but they wanted to go, and they could only go at it was 8:30 that same day. So it was enough of it was like a 5 or 6 hour break, which was enough to kind of make it seem. And I'll tell you what, I was fucking fucked up that second time that I went and saw that movie. Like, there was a bar right across the street, and I just went over there and swilled a couple of cocktails before I went in there.
Let's roll on these super chats. We've got a few.
Let's put it over there. We got Sucked is over there, and he's wondering if anyone reminded of RoboCop when Batman was stomping out of the shadows. That was that opening scene, and pretty much every time that he walks in any room, I loved how kind of not stealthy this Batman was, or he wasn't concerned with it, and I kind of loved the very subtle subtext of that, because what he wants to do is, and there was that whole really cool opening like montage of just like the signal being out, crimes are happening, and everybody's nervous. And what he wants to do is, especially when he slow walks into that frame, when he goes to beat up like those kind of weird war boys or whatever, the guys.
Yeah, they were like ICP war boys.
They really looked like that for sure. Like in the beginning, and
they were like MRA juggalos.
Right.
They were like whoop whoop ninja.
I like the magnets. How do they work? Like, or whatever the fuck it is. Like, but like so. But like when he walks in and he really made it a point to hear all those steps and really walking hard. It was because he wants every one of those motherfuckers, every time they hear footsteps in a dark alley or in a subway, or if they're thinking about doing something, they're going to think that that's him. And I was like, it's a very subtle psychological touch, but it's a stylistic choice that I really enjoyed. We're going to roll through a couple other ones.
Before you pass that scene. So what was really cool to me is, so like the group of kids, the one kid who they were trying to initiate into the gang, who were there
his other half
to earn the half face. I know you guys don't watch Titans, right? I don't know, Navi, did you watch Titans at all?
Titans?
So
no.
Okay, so I'm the only nerd that watches the Batman adjacent shit. Okay, fine.
There you
go. So yeah, full spoiler. Jay Lecurgo plays Tim Drake on Titans. And he's the one that like deduces that who Batman and Nightwing are. So it's cool to see. He was the guy that was like stop the guy from shooting him. So I thought it was pretty cool. I'm like, they're gonna like let him be Tim Drake in two different things. That would be fucking rad as hell. I mean, I don't think so, but it's cool that he's in like another Batman property as a different character.
It's a nice little Easter egg.
I like the nod.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Britt Bird. We appreciate you. No one wants us to believe that Gotham was our neighbor or a real place. Reeves told the story of Gotham and then invited us into the world and said, "Figure it out." LOL. I think that's fair. I think that's a pretty astute take. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that before with like Gotham being always like the third lead. You know what I mean? Like it's arguably it's Batman, Bruce Wayne, it's whoever the kind of main bad guy is, and then it's like the city of Gotham. And I did think that was thing, and because it was the movie is so unbelievably fucking long. It's like but honestly, it flew by for me. Like I didn't really notice it. Like, and we've seen a lot of fucking really like long movies have kind of been coming. I mean, shit, we did the Snyder Cut, like was 4 hours and stuff like that. But like that one, that's where the movie's not really working as well as it could, and that's when you really feel that runtime. And this one was just kind of keeping things moving at a clip, which I thought was really good. Shout out to Gabe, the thirst officer. Sean is a neoliberal centrist movie critic. I mean, I think it's one of those things where it's been a very Navi, you'll appreciate this. This has been a very we've been trying to introduce the concept of holding two thoughts in your head at the same time about having complicated feelings about stuff that you about the media that you like the media. It's like, you know, there's
literally illegal.
Right.
They don't let you do that on Twitter.
They don't let you do that on Twitter. They don't let you do that on YouTube. You know what I mean? But yeah, so it's been, because it's one of those things where like there's still a part of me that thinks that, and maybe it's kind of like the filmmaker guy, like the filmmaker brain type thing, or just like or just like the cinema lover brain that sort of like kind of goes towards like how immaculate like the Dark Knight is constructed and performed, and how it and I mean, like, I will say, like, the electrical charge of seeing the Dark Knight, like, as far as like it being a crowd pleaser is
Sean, electrical charge too soon. That scene.
Oh,
you said electrical charge, and now I'm just like thinking about Batman.
This is fucking so weird to watch Morgan simp for Batman. This is so fucking strange. It's so crazy.
Hold on, I need to tell you guys a story that happened right before we started filming. So Morgan's brain is completely consumed by two things as of late. One of which is the Batman. The other is a little comedy on Netflix called "I Think You Should Leave."
Sure.
And so Morgan started memeing "I Think You Should Leave" and Batman together. And so she was starting to cook dinner and then got distracted.
Sure.
Started a whole entire new Twitter account. And this is like an hour ago.
Nothing on it yet.
Called I Think You Should Reeves. And it is entirely dedicated to Batman and "I Think You Should Leave" crossover memes.
There we go.
Burned our dinner.
There we go. So Morgan,
she was creating a new Twitter account because
you were cooking dinner. Were you guys making sloppy steaks over there and stuff like
that? Sloppy steaks.
You were slopping them up.
Our potatoes. And she's like,
chicken spaghetti.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. She's like, I was thinking about Batman and burned our dinner.
Incredible.
This movie has literally ate my brain.
Yeah. There you go.
So that's a story.
Yeah, that's the story.
Hey, that's pretty. Hey, it's like, oh my god, that's like, hey, what's going on, internet? Batman ate my wife's brain.
But not my dinner.
Exactly. There we go. We got Melina over there. I was watching the movie and thinking, what a great opportunity they have to explore about the Court of Owls. Please make it happen, DC. The Court of Owls.
Pattinson already said that's the one he wants the next one to be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're setting it up. I really love that they used we'll call it Elseworlds for lack of a better idea. Like the whole Martha Arkham it's an Elseworlds. It's an alternate Earth idea.
Okay.
In that world, Martha Wayne is the Joker, and she's the counterpoint to Thomas Wayne, who's the Batman in that story.
Right.
And that's a really cool idea.
Because it's Bruce that gets shot instead of the parents. And so there's like a split where it's like this. Yeah, it's a really cool concept. But
it makes him like extreme. I mean, he's already royalty, but imagine being like the son of like the two most powerful people and families.
Yeah.
It makes perfect fucking sense.
Like the Eisenhowers and the Rockefellers like had like a fucking kid. It's kind of in this universe.
The Voltron of billionaires.
The Voltron crazy of billionaires. Oh my god. No, but the Court of Owls could be like a really fucking cool thing that we get going. We're gonna keep it moving on through our prompts and stuff like that. We will get to all of the super chats. Fear not, everybody. We appreciate y'all. But we gotta talk about the favorite scenes of our favorite scenes of the movie. Maddie, let's put it over to you real quick to first off, dear. What was your favorite scene in this movie?
So the thing that really struck me as different about this Batman were all of the horror homages throughout the movie, like the ways it played with tone and atmosphere, and specifically like the use of the music and the film angles and a lot of like horror genre conventions. I was very excited and happy to see, because I had done all of these, like, you know, people were like, it's a horror movie. And I was like, how the fuck are they going to make Batman a horror movie? Like, I was like, what is going on here? Sure. And then I watched it and I was like, this is not a superhero movie. This is a horror movie in like every sense of the word. And it's like an externalization of all of his fears and all of his mistakes and all of the city's mistakes. And like you said, I'm going to say it again, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. This is what happens when all of these people are so like mismanaged and misguided by people who have power and you know, shit to lose.
Right.
And I think that framing is just absolutely gorgeous and elevates it far above that. So I would have to say probably like the scene where he's in the evidence locker and he's like, you know, you're like, he's examining the orphanage. Like the orphanage was just, forgive the pun, riddled with with horror references. But specifically the scene where he's in the evidence locker after everything is all said and done, and he figures out that the carpet has another message. And he pulls it out. Like that just made my brain explode in like the best way. And I was like, they went there. They went there. Like just far and above beyond all of my expectations. And Morgan, what do you feel about this?
Mustache was in there too, Matt.
Yes.
Like I love their like arc where he's like this fucking freak in the first scene. And then in that scene, he's a buddy. He's this little like Robin.
And then they work together at the end of it. Yeah.
And he's like, and of course this rich kid doesn't know what a fucking carpet tool is.
No.
And I was just like, oh, we got a little friend now. And I love it.
I thought it was, I mean, like, no, and I mean, it's been like a lot of people have said, but like there are, I mean, in the literal design and how he is performed, like the Joker, like there's a lot of Zodiac parallels. There's a lot of David Fincher parallels, a lot of Seven parallels in this. Like David Fincher is all fucking over this movie. Like as far as like just as far as like the lexicon and kind of like the way that the crime that, you know, Batman is trying to solve is kind of operates and stuff like that. So I think that's very well said. Navi, what was your favorite scene in this here movie?
My favorite scene, I forgot exactly where this which part it happens, but it's a hallway scene where he's fighting other people
in the club when he goes up to 44.
It's all dark and all you can see is like muzzle flashes. It's the best scene. It's
that's when he's going to go see Falcone and he's stopping Selena from
that
one. It was all dark and it was only lit by
the machine fighter. Yes.
He's fighting. It's beautiful
that
scene.
Was I think DC's direct answer to the much beloved Daredevil hallway fight, and I think it is an equal opponent personally.
Yeah, and I think it's also similar to like a War of the Planet Apes. There's like things similar in there as well, and there's like reminded me of it. And it's funny, Sean, that you said that it reminds of Zodiac and like Seven. It does bring a lot of like, I love psychological thrillers,
right?
So I thought this was more of a psychological thriller movie than a horror movie. So it's interesting when people told me it's horror. I was like, I guess I can see it.
I would consider psychological thrillers also horror. Like it's not.
It's horror adjacent or whatever it is. Yeah, for sure.
They put the climax like you're gonna have a jump scare, and they just don't have a jump scare. Like, and that's how I associate like. You have a jump scare as a horror. You don't have a jump scare as a psychological thriller.
We could have had like a totally lame like cat jump scare that they put in like every horror movie because we got a fuckload of cats like in this movie. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
I know.
You could have perfectly, but that scene was perfectly amazing, and I think it just tried to bring all the parts of all the other movies that you love. It's like, remember this? Like, remember this part?
Yeah.
See all of them put together. And like,
and the movie at that point is like the thing about this. The thing I've seen some horror or not some horror, some like comic book movies and action movies and like Marvel movies and like all that stuff is that it always kind of seems like, for the most part, not all of them, but like a lot of them, there's kind of like it's at the end of Act 2 that is kind of like the high point of the movie, and then you just are finishing the movie, sort of like. That kind of like that happens in a bunch of different films and stuff like that. But the thing about this movie is that it was just like a straight ascent, like to the whole thing, and that they kept giving him his biggest and craziest action moments, like as the movie kind of went on and stuff like that, which I thought was smart, you know.
Exactly, and it just kept going, right? Like it wasn't a happy ending. We didn't get a happy ending till the end. It was still going. It wasn't like, oh, we caught the Riddler and everything's good. Like no.
Right.
There's still shit happening. Like
you keep peeling that onion, that onion of like the
the
plot
very
back.
last scene, like we're
Right.
just still dealing with the whole concept.
The poor dog is still paddling.
Right.
That poor dog. That poor doggo.
Oh my God.
I tweeted at Matt Reeves trying to get like the what happened with the dog. I'm like, can you just tell us that the dog is okay? He made it to like a plank of wood or something. I just need the director to tell me.
I mean, you know, well, yeah. I mean, like he could probably literally speak to like the actual dog actor. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
no,
you know,
no. I thought
you
no
need
animals were harmed. I
Right.
need him to be like canon that dog made it to a bodega.
That soggy boy over there fucking made it to a bodega.
Dried off and taken care of or
there
something.
There we go. Well, I mean, like let's take it over to y'all. Like, Dracis, what do you guys got for your favorite scene of this motion picture?
I'm gonna choose because the internet, although everybody kind of agrees that they like love the movie, I've seen some people saying like, yeah, but that third act, I'm gonna fucking defend. I'm a third act apologist. I think it was great. Because it was really the first scene when you meet Batman, and that guy was scared and was like, please don't hurt me. He's drenched in rainwater. And he just like stares at him and walks off. And then the final scene when Batman realizes he actually becomes Batman, he falls into the water, he's baptized as Batman.
Right.
And he realizes he shouldn't be vengeance, he should be hope.
Yeah.
And that like little parallel when he's like, I help people and I'm leading people to safety, not just punching people.
Yeah.
Tears.
No, it's a literal moment of
saw it twice and I didn't catch that. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, no, it's like that's what it is because he is literally like, I think it was very apt to bring up baptism or something like that. Or just
somebody
like
tweeted that. I did not make that up.
Right.
There's a tweet.
You mean you didn't immediately see the Silco? You mean you didn't immediately see the Silco connection?
Oh, right, God, absolutely, right, absolutely.
No,
but
my God, it is a Silco.
when he
it's
cuts,
a baptism though.
Yeah. True.
A baptism.
A baptism. Yes, exactly. Yeah, no, like, but when he cuts that, it's maybe the first, at least within this story, it's the first like supremely self-sacrificial move that he makes. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's been like a couple things like where, you know, he saved the little kid he got him out of the way in the funeral scene, like when the car went through. But in a way, symbolically,
that little kid is himself.
He's still
himself.
I was about to say, yeah, he's saving himself,
sorry.
and that's like, no, you're fine, you're fine. No, but like but that was one where he's just like, no, this is what has to happen in order for me to save everybody that's down below. And then like, yeah, that beautiful imagery, like the above the head shot of like leading them out with the light and stuff like that. It's like the shit that you need and you want to believe about heroes and stuff like that, which I think was, and to really have it like explicitly sort of kind of stated where I think a lot of where people are so nihilistic when they fucking like really get into stuff about in the Batman world, like with like the Joker and like with all that stuff, like that's what people like really like kind of they focus on. And like, you know, I don't know, I've been reading a lot of Grant Morrison comic and his take on Batman, and he sees him as just like a supreme humanist, you know what I mean? Like one of the great humanists in comic book history. And like this kind of gets there in a way that not a lot of Batman movies have even attempted to and stuff like that, which I think is special. Yeah, Dustin, what do you got as far as a favorite scene over there, bud?
God, that Batmobile reveal.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Literal you know what it reminded me? Speaking of horror, do you guys remember the Freddy Krueger with like the dream master?
Yes.
The yes. Wheelchair.
Yes.
It's the wheelchair. It's the evil wheelchair, and that's why it hit me. I'm like, oh God, it's that wheelchair again. And no, it's the Batmobile. The Batmobile scared the fucking shit out of me.
It was very scary. Yeah.
I really hated. I know we keep doing the parallels. The Tumblr. I'm going to tell you. I am a person who owns. I am not even exaggerating. 100 Batmobiles. 100.
I'm looking at them.
Like I have the case behind me. You can't see it because I have 100 Batmobiles. I have like every Lego version of a Batmobile. The Tumblr blows. So to get this new Batmobile, it makes me so happy.
Well, I think what you're saying is that that I think speaks to Nolan, and I think it's in some essence it's a strength as a filmmaker, and sometimes it can be like a little bit of a hindrance where he was just like really focused on the utility of making this thing kind of work or whatever it was, and Batman's an extra ass bitch. Like he likes to, you know what I mean? Like he likes to kind of, he likes his iconography. He likes to fucking make like a stylistic statement and shit like that. And I think that, I really like the new Batmobile for sure. Like the new Charger and everything. Car
was goth as fuck, and it was like, it was murdered out. It looked fucking cool.
He figured out the started glowing. When he hit the turbocharge, I was just like, oh,
yeah. No, that was a lot of fun. That was great. Yes. We are gonna don't worry, y'all. We're gonna get to all your super chats stuff like that. But before we do, I'll talk about my favorite scene. One of my favorite scenes and one of my favorite, like, kind of just things that I really dig about this Batman and in particular. I think my favorite scene was the initial encounter with Batwoman, or not Batwoman, with Catwoman, with when she's going in to steal out of the safe, and we have this whole it was so classic Batman and Catwoman. Like they get into a little bit of fight. He kind of like they get in over there. He kind of like sort of pins her down. Because one thing I will say, this movie is fucking horny. This is horny.
It stars a virgin. This is the horniest
virgin alive.
Alive, and he doesn't know he's doing it.
Prompt the things that you're saying. You think that Batman is a virgin in this movie?
Yes.
Why would you say that?
Why would you not?
I mean, he was Bruce Wayne, and then he turned Batman. You don't think he's gotten any so far?
No, absolutely not. I think that's very low on his list of priorities, and he only realizes that maybe that's something he might be interested in when he realizes that he has fucking dynamite chemistry with Selena Kyle.
Sure.
But he's only been Batman for 2 years. He has to had some beforehand. Like,
I don't know.
No, he's been training. He doesn't have time. It's the Camelot.
I studied the blade.
Hold on.
I don't think he can focus on what he's doing if he hadn't had any. Like,
right. Interesting.
Because he's compartmentalizing. He can't go there.
He's got to spend all this time. He's like Sting. He's got to like master fear. It's tantric Batmaning.
He doesn't do anything hedonistic. Like he doesn't eat good food.
Distracted he would be if he wasn't like getting
I'm telling you, this is
I think that's why he punches people.
No,
right, hold on.
Round table, that's like the famously like romantic one, but he was always like chaste and like there's one of the Knights of the Round Table who is like famously didn't have sex with anyone, but he was like the most romantic. That's Batman. Like you just are on your like training and you just don't go there because he's so terrified of making attachments because he never wants to have that fear of losing someone he's attached to ever again. He is not going to risk having sex. He's not going to risk catching feelings. He barely talks to anyone who isn't Alfred.
Okay, so I mean, like, I think that it's an interesting. I think it's an interesting point and stuff like that. Until Matt Reeves comes out and says that this dude is never fucked, then I'm assuming he got a through the pants hand job at some point or whatever. I mean, he's
total virgin.
It's like it's Robert Pattinson. Like he's gonna catch something some point, maybe early on, but when he gets into his 20s or whatever it is, like I don't know. I think that he's gotten to like third base. I think
he's also deeply shut down. He's deeply traumatized. He is deeply like depressed,
incredibly repressed and depressed. Yes.
And I'm telling you, unless you've been there, you don't know what it does to the old.
I just never thought of that. I assumed
the old libido.
Billionaire kid.
I'm gonna pull a Selena Kyle, and I'm like, well, you must have grown up happy.
So right. So like I was saying, my favorite scene was was with him and Catwoman, and like just that whole like. It like especially that moment of like when the cop comes into the room and like they kind of he's holding her and he has like and then you can see them both. It's very subtle, but you can see them both like relax and then they're just like hanging out, being together and stuff like that. It's a horny movie. It's a romantic movie in a lot of ways.
Horniest romantic thriller I've
Seriously,
ever seen in my life.
No. I mean, and I think that I will say though that we, this whole the fact that Disney and Marvel kind of has such a huge market share of comic book of comic book films and stuff, and they have. Other than the Eternals, they literally people are confirmed having sex in the Eternals or whatever, but they've been very sexless, and there's been a lot of that stuff is kind of drained out of the story, and people eat that shit up all day. And I really like the fact that they made that a priority in this in this movie for sure. A shout out to Marcus Reed. Look at this guy. Look at this king over here. Has not had a chance to see this yet, but I look forward to watching this later. Y'all are great. Navi's great. Everyone's great, especially Superman.
Whomst among us? I think that's a lot of why
What is going on? Who looks at this, dude?
Who looks at this?
We do have one question.
We do have some questions. We do. They're in the chat.
Questions. I sent in the private chat. He sent us some comments.
Oh, okay. Hold on one second. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Let me put here. I'm going to put it out real quick here. Let me get this onto the chat. One sec. Sorry about that. Here we go. All right. And how did you guys feel about the "he's my father" trope? Plus, you never thought that the movie was a run-on sentence. I wasn't too worried about it, honestly. It made it personal for a Catwoman. I mean, I think they're talking about when Falcone, with Catwoman and Falcone being father and daughter and stuff like that. I was fine with it. I didn't really have for the thing is, for as much as we've just come off of watching the Book of Boba Fett and doing all those things, and it's you just can't throw a stone without hitting a Skywalker or some motherfucker like that, or somebody who's related to somebody. I mean, having one person kind of within that orbit that's related, I think is okay. You know what I mean?
I was surprised happily. I was okay, cool.
I was all right with it. I mean, they came really close, and it's just because that dumbass Bond movie made what was it? They made Bond brothers with the main bad guy or whatever. When I was afraid that they were going to be that there was going to be some familial relationship between him and the Riddler. I was that would be really stupid. That's when I would have really not dug it. You know what I mean?
A half brother.
They were teasing. They were teasing the orphanage. Yeah.
They were. I mean, and they could have done it, but it's I don't know, dudes, motherfuckers can just be crazy. You know what I mean? People can just be wild and shit. It's I was that one. I think you get one. You get one familial reveal per movie,
and I think that was a great one.
I thought it was fine. I mean, and it was also just because I thought that Zoe did such a tremendous job and stuff like that. So, I mean, anyway, let's keep it on moving over there. Speaking of people doing tremendous jobs, we got ourselves the MVP, the most valuable player of this movie. And this can be a filmmaker. It can be a composer. It can be a writer. It can be whatever. It can be the dog. It can be the soggy boy. If you really want it to be, or whatever it is. So
and I want my movies to be a run-on sentence personally, because that means you're just going and chugging right on till the end, which is kind of necessary if you're going to have a 3-hour movie, in my opinion.
True. Well,
I felt the exhaust a little bit,
right?
But that's because I also had to take 4 trips to the bathroom because your girl has a small bladder. But besides that, I was I was not oh, when is this going to be over? I was having a great time the whole way through.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, I could definitely feel it, but I didn't mind it because I was pretty engaged with everything, kind of as it were. Shout out to Jadetron. I enjoyed the club scenes, and it reminded me of Blade a touch. Absolutely, man. Bathed
what
in
if
red.
We had a blood orgy at Iceberg?
Oh my god,
blood. He kind of did when he was punching everybody.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, he sort of
making some blood happen.
Right. Absolutely.
Blood, yours or mine. Yeah.
Well, let's have an orgy about it.
Oh, I got one. We'll get one more before we go back into the MVPs over there. Shout out to Hellfish. This just goes back to I used to be a piece of shit. Now I'm vengeance.
I feel that.
You might see it on I Think You Should Reeves.
Yeah, right.
Follow her on Twitter.
Right.
I don't have anything yet, though. It's just I was holding on to the.
People can still follow though and wait for you to get some stuff out there. You know,
you guys are in on the ground floor. It's a growth opportunity. It's like a Tupperware party. Get in on the ground floor.
A lot of people give, guys. A lot of people give.
So, Draces, who's your MVP of this here movie? Who you guys got over there?
I mean, I'm just gonna be super basic and I'm giving it to Matt Reeves. I'm like, who are you? Who are you? Where did you come from?
No, I mean, I knew it. I knew going into this movie.
Planet of the Apes. I
was surprised how much I liked Planet of the Apes. So I thought it was so good, and Cloverfield was excellent.
And I love Cloverfield, but I never was like. And this movie, I'm sorry, I'm a simp for Reeves now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the Batman himself. It's super basic again, but I read a whole article talking about the cowl and trying to act in the cowl.
Sure.
And he talked about how they would do scenes, and he would be like, "Look at his eyes."
Yeah.
And when you look at his eyes and how he's acting with the whites of his eyes,
right?
The dude is a fucking genius.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like between that and also when you hear an interview with him and you hear his actual speaking voice, which is so British.
Well,
but so
come
much
around here, aren't we? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
But the things he did with his minimal dialogue were very, very inspired.
Sure.
And his choices to not say something and his body inflection and his tone.
He
and
lets people talk. And also like the physicality. This is like a Batterson,
tall Batman,
and the Batterson with the Reeves, where it's like because he has the eye things, he moves slow, not just to look cool.
Yeah,
right.
He moves slow and stares at people not to intimidate them, and it's a reason he's doing every physical thing he's doing.
Yeah.
It's like
I think where that really kind of paid off, and like what was one of the most interesting scenes and very subtle, like because this. The other thing that's kind of fascinating about the movie is because the movie is so long, and I do think that like there's a lot of blockbusters that are like very overstuffed with plot, like and that's kind of like where they just need to. We're trying to put in as much things as we can, as much set pieces, as many locations, and all that stuff. And the thing about this movie is that it didn't. But they try to make it about 2:15, 2:20, and sometimes those movies can kind of feel like they're bursting at the seams, like they're just tripping over their own feet to get to the next scene, to get to the next sentence, and things aren't really able to kind of breathe and stuff. And like people just like walk around in moves and they walk around in rooms and talk to each other in this movie, like in what feels like a real way. And like there was that scene with him and the Riddler where he's talking with him and he says Bruce Wayne, and the very subtle acting that he had to do, because he goes through a couple different things where you think and he thinks at the same time that he knows who he is, that he knows that Batman is, that he knows that he's Bruce Wayne. And then but he's freaking out, and you can kind of see he's doing very subtle things that he's kind of freaking out. And then he says it
up
again.
at that camera. He's like, everyone knows now.
And then he says it again, and then he doesn't give him anything, but he's still kind of communicating somehow. And then he says it again, and he's like, we almost had him. And he's like, wait. Thank God. He didn't figure out. Holy shit! I just took like 8 Frady bat peas like in my fucking trousers right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so
there was a moment when he thought that the Riddler definitely knew who he was. That he almost seemed relieved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the apartment when he saw the apartment,
Gordon.
He thought that. Yeah.
Also, Gordon.
Oh yeah. Big time.
Oh, when they were staring at each other at the funeral, and he was like, "Does he recognize me?"
Yeah.
Jeffrey Wright. Oh, he was so funny. Like his
Jeffrey
little
Wright! Yes.
He's like, "Come on, man." Like just his little aside.
Oh no, his little choice to go. Well, you punched me in the face.
Yeah.
I love that little head little thing.
He's like, no guns. That's your thing, man.
And he calls him man.
Somebody brought up the best joke in the movie. Thumb drive, and Jeffrey
Wright
hilarious.
Hilarious. If you go to a drinking screening where people are like drinking, this movie becomes a comedy, and like people were like, this movie is very funny.
Yeah, it's very subtle, but it's like it's funny in the way that like because I also think this movie owes a lot to like Martin Scorsese movies and stuff like that, and like The Sopranos and
just
shit.
Like
and
that, where it's like Soprano humor, where like it's
like this weird, almost incidental, like little minutia stuff of how people say things and everything like that and stuff like that. Well, I mean, like, Navi, who's your MVP for this flick?
I feel like I have to pick somebody that hasn't been picked, but
you don't have to. Like whatever your MVP is, it's all good.
Two, but I will say Batman. He was actually really, really good.
Yeah.
But beside him, like I love Penguin.
Dude,
and just Colin Farrell playing Penguin it's amazing.
I kept trying to see Colin in the Penguin and I just couldn't. Like, that's how good it was.
I had no idea until after we were walking out and Stuart turns to me like, "Did you know it was Colin Farrell playing Penguin?" I was like, "What?" I had no clue at all. And like just seeing him, then like I rewatched a couple of scenes and just seeing like he was, I guess the makeup was so good he was still able to do minuscule like expressions that you could not tell that it was a makeup on him.
Right.
But no, he was great. And I think the other funny scene with Penguin is like when he's tied up his hands and his legs and then he just walks like
walking over there.
I was like, yep, that is definitely a Penguin. Like
when they left him handcuffed and he was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I was dying. I was laughing so hard.
And that's where they get like it for the Soprano heads out there. Like they go full gabagool with him and stuff like that, which is pretty good. Like, what
are you showing me?
Hey, what are you showing me? I ain't killed no girl, or whatever the fuck it was.
Goyle. He ain't moited no Goyle.
Moited no Goyle. You know what I mean? Over there, which I think is, which also is, again, I do think that this movie owes a lot to. It takes where it takes its influences where it wants. It's a big casserole of a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of like animated series kind of type stuff in there. There's a lot of like Burton era type stuff in here, and there's like the grittiness and the darkness and stuff like that of the Nolanverse. Like it kind of just like. It creates this big kind of goulash like of a movie that I think that works like surprisingly well. That like you wouldn't expect.
Goulash, if you will.
Like gabagoulash. Hey, what are you talking about?
Ew. And when he called Bruce Wayne Johnny Slick, that's why I made Dustin be Johnny Slick tonight. I was like, that's the funniest shit. I don't know what it means.
I don't know
why
I'm
laughing.
Funny. Right,
I want to shout out the twins because I tweeted this in the theater on Sunday. I saw it yesterday. I tweeted this from the theater, fully screaming. I was like, I did not know the Teen Wolf twins were in the Batman because they are like famous.
Are they from Teen Wolf from MTV?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
cool.
they're from Teen Wolf on MTV, and they play these like two like beefcake werewolves who roll into town, and they're like, "I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you," and like it's so funny. It's so funny. And so they showed up, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's the Teen Wolf guys!" Like I could not tell you their names. I don't know anything about them. I don't know what they did after in between, but because they are just so like a microcosm of what MTV programming was in that moment in like 2012 or whatever. Like I was just like, it's the Teen Wolf twins. Like they're gonna be assholes, and I'm gonna watch them get beat up, and I'm gonna be so happy about it.
Oh
like,
yeah, no,
yeah, that's what they do best.
And I love a recurring bit, and like and him showing up to the door. And them opening it, and every time they open the door, they have progressively like bigger welts on their face and bruises and black eyes and shit like that. Like it's again, like I think that's well said, Morgan. Where the movie is like it's funny, but in a very kind of like a weird, like subtle way. You know what I mean? It kind of
also like having twin, like Gotham is such like the crime in Gotham. The style is so it's also like, ugly, but also so stylized. Where it's like. Yeah,
that was very animated series to me. You know what I mean?
So animated series.
Yeah, Which was fucking chef's kiss. Let's get a couple of super chats. There's third officer $10. Gotham was finally a comic worthy character, very Zahn like. Shout out to Maddie over there, big Arcane fan. In that it's worn, hope bereft, its own textured, evil world, dirty, corrupt. Exactly what conservatives think of Chicago. I mean,
which is funny because me and Dustin have this theory and we cannot figure it out yet, but we'll let you know. When the scene where Bruce is putting the contacts into Selina's eyeballs, we are 90% sure that is our our friend's old apartment.
Also, on that note, like
we're almost 90%
for
sure.
those of you that have been to Chicago, obviously, like every Batman movie has strong connections to Chicago. Usually, like any elevated scene, they use the Clark and Lake stop as like
that was
obviously
first...
used in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But there's this really interesting juxtaposition, which I thought was like super, like if you're Chicagoan, or I'm sure if you're a New Yorker, you kind of get it. Where like there's one scene that is like so undeniably Chicago, and then it's like a split second later they're in front of Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, right, 100%.
Like in New York. And you're like, it was like boom, boom, and it was like
that was such a whiplash, because I was like, clearly this is fucking Chicago, and then it was like boom, Times Square, and I was like, no.
Yeah,
but I don't know if it would hit that way if you're not from either
place.
Cities.
Like, it's only because I'm from Chicago that I'm like, it's not Chicago. Right. Don't you steal my Gotham from me? We're Chicago over here. I mean, we're Gotham.
I love Morgan from Massachusetts being like, don't you take my Chicago away from me.
I've been here since 2008.
There we go.
I love that I made you a Chicagoan.
There you go. Right.
I made you a Gothamite.
MVP, Maddie, who's your MVP over there? Was it the twins or was it?
No, God, no. It was fucking Zoe Kravitz. Are you kidding me? Is there any other correct answer besides Zoe fucking goddamn Kravitz? Like, oh my God. Everything she brought to that role, everything she did, she was acting her ass off just as hard as Rob was. And she fully brought like an earthiness to Selena, because Selena's always been like a femme fatale, right? You know, she's just like, I'm just a girl looking to make my way in the world, blah, blah, blah. I got 9 lives, bitch. Like her whole vibe is like aloof, airy, mysterious. But Zoe grounded the role in like, and this has a lot to do with the script, obviously, and the theme of the movie. She grounded the role in a way of like, you know, like, she became a thief because she had a mark, because she grew up with this vengeance, with this like hurt inside of her from who her parent is, and she has decided to fill that shit with money, which more power to you, girl. That is the currency of the world.
Right.
And I think that like the way she grounded it, and when she was like, all those fucking privileged white assholes like Bruce Wayne. I was like, you tell him, bitch.
I was like, go.
And I was like, my reaction to that line, I'm like, is this petty? Is this a troll to the like people in the audience who are gonna tweet out, this is woke trash? Yes. I'm not mad at it. I loved it. I knew it was a petty troll.
And we gotta support our fellow service industrials. You know, like 100%. She was there, she was doing the damn thing. Every time I see a bartender or a server now, I'm like, watchers in the bar squad, like y'all are the team. Like,
absolutely.
Let's fucking go. Like the shit that she had to put up with, and the shit that she agreed to put up with to enact her vengeance, I just think is very powerful and motivating. Honestly, an icon. I aspire to be her in every possible way.
Ooh, this is like DBA coming in with the Zoe Kravitz says that she got turned down for the Nolan Batman because she was too. That's what I mean. Nolan's
explosive if true. That is, I believe it. But it's like,
she would have been really young.
She would have been really young. I mean, like, you know, I mean, I don't know. I get it. Kind of depends on like how you would want to take it. I mean, it would have been in 2013 or 2012, which isn't too crazy, but like, she would have been 23 or 24 or something like that, you know, which I think it could have worked. Anne
Hathaway was 28 when she landed the role. So I think a negligible amount of years, but also
I
there's only one way to read urban. So
exactly. That's Hollywood producer speak.
That's everyone.
It's like I just hope she's like swirling her wine like.
No, and that kind of makes that line about all the sweeter, honestly, in a way.
That's actually, and also like my favorite thing is her little cat touches she did. My cat, R.I.P. Tallman. When like cats love you, they do this thing where they get in your face and they just sort of after she kissed Batman. She was talking to him. She was doing the little like when she was talking to him, and I was like, "That's what cat does when it loves you.
That's cute.
Also, did you catch how she was aping the animated series? Like
the triangle,
all hips.
Yeah,
yes. Triangle,
all
upside
hips.
down triangle back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I was like, Dinny that walk, girl.
Right.
We call that the Dorito in this house.
I'll say this. This might be this might be sacrilege or controversial. Michelle Pfeiffer was a verifiably it was a verified sexual awakening for me. Like when I think it was like, it was, what was it, 92? I was 8 years old. And yeah, it was just like, I was just like, I like girls now, and I like girls that are pretty. I like girls that wear leather and shit like that.
For me, it was Carrie Russell in Mission Impossible.
There you go. Like, and so like
girls in leather, just like,
and so like
awakenings.
But I think that I don't know if maybe not the favorite. Maybe there might be other things of the favorite. Maybe Michelle Pfeiffer still might be my favorite. I think that Zoe is the best on-screen Catwoman that has ever existed, for sure.
Agreed.
I think I would have
to choose. I can't choose because they're different.
You don't have to.
They're so and they're so iconic in different ways. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So.
No, this is the other thing that I was going to say before about like as far as ranking and shit like that. The other thing that like this movie kind of really something that really washed over me like after I saw it was like people immediately were just like, who do you rank it? Which is it better? Which one is it better in? And I'm just like, I don't know. It kind of doesn't.
Two thoughts in your brain.
It kind of doesn't matter at this point because like everybody's asking me like what like what sauce you want on your nuggets, where I'm like, I'm going to Baskin Robbins. There's 31 flavors and they're all fucking Batman, different types of Batman that I like. You know what I mean? And sometimes you want to cash in your Burton stuff, and sometimes you want the animated series, and sometimes you might even want your Snyder and stuff like that. It's not exactly
Pattinson and Robbins.
Pattinson and Robin. There you go.
We got very excited. Morgan and I were at the bar over this weekend and are like, how old? She's like 24, 23.
She's a Zoomer.
One of our Zoomer employees worked the door, and we were talking about
my bar daughter.
Yeah,
I love her very much.
About Batman and Robin, and she'd never seen it, and we explained it to her, and she's like, "Huh." And yesterday, she sent us a text. She's like, "This movie's incredible." She's like, "This is a text of like Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze." I'm like, "Yeah,
got her."
Honestly, the best Mr. Freeze, besides like the Harley Quinn Mr. Freeze, I think.
Right. Well, I mean,
there's room for all of them, but I mean,
that's true.
I'm just glad that we get more.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's sort of how it read to me, where it's just like it's like if you need like your kind of Jason Bourne like spy movie Batman, you got the Nolan stuff. If you need like a kind of a gothic type of deal, you got the Tim Burton stuff. You need a little amalgamation of both, and kind of like an emo like kind of take on the stuff like that or whatever it is. Like, and then you got this one. So I think there's a lot of stuff over there. We're gonna get through some before we get to the next prompt. We'll get through some other super chats over here. Out of all of the portrayals of Riddler, who's your favorite? I don't know, Navi, do you have a favorite?
I don't.
You don't?
I do.
What's up?
Go for it.
Mine is Wally Wingert, who was the voice actor in Arkham, the video game. Because Riddler is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and this movie owes a lot to that video game. Like, there's so many scenes. Like when they were going in the scene when he's
the
in
Arkham Knight stuff,
the orphanage.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Well, he was in the orphanage and he walks in, and I just turned to Morgan. I was like, "This is straight out of the video game."
Right.
Like when you open the door, and it just was like, I was losing my shit.
Sure.
It was so cool.
Yeah, I think the day comes. I don't know, favorite real. I mean, like I'll always have a kind of a soft. I mean, because I think the first Batman that I saw was Batman Returns, and then I remember really digging the fuck out of Batman Forever. Like I loved it. That was peak Jim Carrey. Like it was like
I loved it too.
He just couldn't miss, and it was just one of those things. It was like before. You ever had that shit where like you're too young to know that things that are geared towards you are bad? And that movie's not even necessarily bad. That movie's a lot of fucking fun. But you know what I'm saying? Like, to be critical of something like is like doesn't happen until you hit like a certain age or whatever it is. And at that point, I was like, this is awesome. Two-Face is great. Jim Carrey's hilarious. Even though I did rewatch it, and I didn't really realize that he is wearing just like leggings the entire time. He's wearing like yoga pants. Like he's not even wearing. He never wears pants.
You see his pee-pee.
I love the story of how
crooked like
when they made the action figure, like how Jim Carrey like actually sent the model back and told them he wouldn't sign off on it unless they increased the size of his package?
Oh my god!
I mean, that's a pretty bold.
Do you think they got that request back and they looked at it and it was like, they need us to make the schwanz a little bit bigger over there, and he's just like, alrighty then, and then they just fucking did it. You know what I mean? Like,
alrighty then.
Right, exactly. Shout out to Jacob Albers. Who do you think the first Robin? There could be a first Robin in this version. Robin is so hard to do. It seems like.
I feel like they gotta do it because I mean, it's kind of canon that Robin was introduced very early in, and it could be an inexperienced Batman, like year 3 or whatever, might make the mistake of like accidentally getting involved with this kid who all of a sudden starts like because Robin's an orphan, but he's a circus guy, so he could probably creep around, sneak out of the house. He's probably just like a feral child following him around.
You guys,
I mean, that is Dick. That is literally Dick Grayson.
Catwoman already said she's going to Bloodhaven, which is where Nightwing, aka Dick Grayson, is. Like, that's his whole
you gotta start with Dick, and he's got to be extremely feral. And I think if they do a second movie, which I really want them to do, that will be a factor in the storyline, especially if he has to go pick up Selena for any reason. But I really, really want her to be just like, look what the cat dragged in, and just like throw him Dick Grayson.
Right. You take care of this kid.
Really funny.
I like. Yeah. She has a thing for strays.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that, I mean, yeah, I think that's did we miss anybody? MVPs? Anybody else need to go? I think we got everybody right.
I just wanted to mention that my favorite Riddler is probably tied between Jim Carrey and Paul Dano, because I loved this iteration so much. In such a different way than I loved Jim Carrey, but Jim Carrey is my Riddler. Also, shout out to Robert Englund, who is just a god.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, like,
I would like to say Jim Carrey was always my favorite Riddler, and I really love this Riddler, a lot,
because he was so camp. It was the camp.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I want to give a shout out to a little show called Gotham. Because the Riddler and the Penguin's little like romance, toxic relationship, friendship,
right,
is really great. It's so
ridiculous. You covered Gotham. Navi, were you part of the
Did you watch
coverage?
Gotham?
I don't know. I don't think so. I watched here and there some stuff, but never like thoroughly everything.
Right.
I am going to encourage people to watch Gotham because it is insane. It's not.
It's not good.
It's not good.
No. It's like you kind of laugh.
I remember that.
Bit.
No, we didn't. I think Naheed and.
But that Penguin is great.
Right.
The Penguin's great, and I like that. And anything around the Penguin was good. So the Riddler was just great.
And they're like weird, like love triangle, or not love triangle, love
crushes,
bear. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, like little bromance over there. Shout out to the Big Appa. The Batman Gotham felt more real and felt more lived in than the Nolan Gotham, with good and bad parts, and not everything looking like the Narrows.
True.
And no little and no little Joffrey hanging out, because we forgot about that Jack Gleason showing up in.
I was so mad about that. I was so okay. So my beef with Batman is that Babs Gordon deserves better. Babs Gordon deserves the world.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I love Oracle more than Batgirl, which I know is a controversial hashtag hot take, but it is what it is.
Right.
And
I like Oracle better too.
To disrespect Babs in that way, to be like, yeah, this is Commissioner Gordon's son, and B, to be like, he has no other family. I was so mad. I will never forgive the Nolanverse for that. I'm serious. Like, I would kill and die for Babs Gordon, and she deserves everything on the earth, especially her girlfriend Dinah Lance. Thank you. Absolutely. Like, I am so glad there's not a Jack Gleason, and I'm so glad that they like left all of that open. And I will say, I'm going to bring this up right now because I don't really know where else to bring it up. I was mad when they were like, does Alfred have any next of kin? Because I am a huge Birds of Prey fan, but I'm also a huge Batwoman fan.
Sure.
And if the comic readers of Batwoman know, Kate Kane has her own Alfred. She's Alfred's niece, I think, and her name is Julia Pennyworth, but she's more like of an MI6 vibe. Like she's like a little bit cooler. And I was like screaming. I was screaming, Julia, 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 and no one around me understood why I was yelling. And I mean, God bless them. But like, so I hope we get a Julia. I hope we leave the door.
I was gonna say, Maddie, like this iteration of Bruce, like he might not have ever asked Alfred a question in his life.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's been all about Bruce and all about the Waynes, Bruce's entire life.
Oh yeah.
Like down to the audacity of Thomas Wayne gifting these cufflinks with a W to a man whose initials are A and P. How dare you? Thomas Wayne is the villain of this movie. He had good intentions. He might have been a good man, but he is Martha Arkham married a himbo, a rich himbo, and fucked everything up. Yeah, he might have been a doctor, intelligent, but just you don't. Hi, I own you. I'm gonna brand you. Can you wear these W's on your wrist? Flames.
On the side of my face. Flames.
Oh my God.
And it wasn't just
Alfred. I was like, Alfred, know your worth.
Morgan is so mad about these cufflinks. Like, we had like a 40-minute conversation about these cufflinks.
What were you saying? What were you saying, Navi? What were you saying?
I was like, it wasn't just W, it was TW. There was like T on there too.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't even right. Yeah, exactly.
It was like full initial, like first and last name.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Think of that. That's hilarious.
Thank you for shouting that, Navi.
I mean, we kind of sort of answered it, but we're just going through. Is the little kid gonna be the little kid? No, I don't think so. I mean,
I hope not. No.
He was just a representation.
Dick or bust.
Right. Yeah.
I believe what the little kid was like a foreshadowing of like Bruce's. He's like, oh, children who are like lose their parents to violence, like and it's laying the groundwork.
Yeah.
Where he's gonna be a soft touch, where like, he's gonna have a hard time saying no to the Dick Grayson.
Yes. Also, I want to also shout out that I want a non-white Dick Grayson. Like, he's canonically Romney. Like, give me a fucking brown Dick Grayson.
Right.
It's time. We're here.
They've been trying to do that for. Well, no, dude, that was something that crazy that I guess like for after Ghostbusters, who was it? Ivan Reitman was trying to figure out how to make. They were looking at making a Batman starring Bill Murray as Batman and Eddie Murphy as Robin.
Oh.
Like in 1980,
I'd watch it.
I know it would be fascinating. Like
I would absolutely watch it as a relic of the time.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, I mean, like it's just like that. I was like, but that just sounds like too like crazy. I mean, that because we had emo Batman, we've had Playboy Batman, we've had Spy Guy Batman, we'd have hipster Batman. Like, you know what I mean? Like, which is kind of like what it would be like. I don't know, maybe I could save you or whatever. I don't know. Like, maybe we'll check it out and stuff like that. Blood is Bad. Do we have a favorite quote? Does anybody have one?
I mean, everything the Penguin says.
True. 100%.
I'm sorry. I think my favorite quote might be like when he called Bruce Wayne Johnny Slick.
Johnny Slick. Oh, is that?
I don't know. It's so funny to me. I just find that so funny.
Oh yeah, I don't know. No, it's like that kind of weird unnameable thing. Like I totally know that. All right, well let's we'll keep it on moving. We'll get to all the rest of those super chats. Cowl critiques. Is there anything about this movie that we would think that we would change or that we have like a little notes on and stuff like that? Morgan, I'd love to hear if there was anything that you would change like about this movie that could make it a little bit better, improve it, whatever, or whatever, however you want to interpret that. But like, what are you thinking over there?
Squirrel Suit was a little silly. Although I kind of love how
kind of dumb.
I kind of like how stupid it was, and now it's like always gonna make me giggle. So I'm like, do I want to get rid of that? It's in my life now. When I was watching it, I like hated it, and then I'm like, but it's so funny, and they didn't mean it to be funny. So I'm like, I feel bad deleting it, but yeah, it was silly. It wasn't. They were trying to make it a cool, like, oh, he's so smart. That would actually work. And it just looks so silly.
The thing that I loved about that moment, though, that was beforehand, and that they again, it's not like it kind of there's the other thing that I enjoy about this movie a lot, and it's only kind of talking about the Nolan stuff because it's kind of what preceded it and shit, is the fact that like a lot of the Nolan movies, like they're really good. It's a strength and it's a weakness sometimes where they really pontificate and they really tell you everything that's going on and how everybody is feeling and the theme and like everybody's talking a lot. I loved it. It was never like that was probably the first time that he had ever really tried something that like using it in that way. And the reason that that is because as soon as he got up on there, he was like, whoa, like he was like, holy shit,
what am I doing?
Yeah. Which I love that moment. You know what I mean? Like I love, and again, it just makes it, I don't know, if you make like your hero like a little more human and like being able to be surprised or scared or something like that, it kind of helps you relate to him and stuff like that. So there you go. I got that. Dustin, how about you? What do you got over there? Any critiques over there that you could pop off with? What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we just needed more time. I just needed Alfred to do something.
Alfred's a little weak. Alfred's a little weak, I think.
Yeah.
He needed to do something.
Yeah, I mean, he did do it. He did blow up.
Navi's right. Navi's right.
He needed to blow up, and he got blowed up, and he did his job.
I mean, they fridged him. They fridged him.
It's about fucking time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they kind of even didn't really fridge him because, of course, like Bruce, who's still just like so fucking torn up about the fact that like, he basically discovers that like, your people, like people that were, that you maybe, that you losing people when you're young and stuff like that, you kind of lionize them and shit like that. And he's just never considered that. And like Alfred like wakes up, like he literally has not, like he hasn't moved.
That was bullshit.
That was really rude of
He
him.
hasn't moved in like 4 days or whatever, and then he just looks over and is like, "Oh my God, hello, Master Bruce."
You lied to me.
You lied to me. And he's like, "Dude,
You
can we get
motherfucker."
a minute?" You know what I mean? Like there was a little.
Fuck you.
Yeah, basically. No, he didn't even say that. No, he was just mean mugging the shit out of him the entire time. So I don't know. I mean, like, I think, that was something that I kind of, I think that's fair critique. Navi, what do you got over there?
Well, I have a couple. Well, first of all, I would say the movie was too long. I don't know why.
I think that's fair.
It was too long.
I think
I'm
that's
like
fair.
a person who watched Bollywood movies, and I hate Bollywood movies how long they are. So I don't understand why Hollywood is making longer movies. Like, I thought we were doing fine.
Right.
Go back to original. The other one I will say, like, it was. I like that it was a horror movie, a thriller movie, but I wish it was a PG-13. Because of that, it felt restricted. Like they just didn't go horror. I understand why it was, because kids want to go see Batman movie, right? Like it's a superhero, they want to go see it. But it just felt like if you're gonna bring Matt Reeves on, like if you're gonna do a horror movie,
you should have done the damn thing. Yeah,
let's do the damn thing. Like let's do it all the way. Because they didn't show Gordon's partner when he died. They didn't even show his face because I wanted to know what happened. Like, what did they do?
Penguin saw it. Ask him.
What? Like, there was rats there. Like, what did he do? Like, did he put head? Like, what happened?
Right.
But you didn't see that. Like, there was this instance. It was like, oh, this happened, but then they couldn't show it. It's like, but I want to see it. That will just make it.
See it. You want to be the penguin. You wouldn't be like, oh, what are you showing me? You'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, what is it? I was like, what's the difference? Like, can I see the corner of it?
But I want to see a little something. Right. For sure.
Yeah, that felt really disjointed. I completely agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah, like if you were gonna do it, you might as well do all the way, because now I'm just like, oh, I could have been like, I think that would have made this like. I'm not saying it's like 6 or 7 for me. Like it was a good solid 8, but that would have brought it up like really high. I was like, oh, you went there.
Right.
Batman. It was a bad man. It was a horror Batman. Like, yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, it's like that conundrum where it's like you spend enough money on a movie and people just really have a hard time letting it be R. You know what I mean? Because they just want as many asses in the seats as they can. I mean, like I did think that I think that it gave way to some things that like were a little not that, you know, like, or not, maybe that's the wrong way to characterize it, but like it gave way to some stuff where it's like it wasn't it sometimes like art through like limitations and shit like that, like where there was some parts like in the murder scenes where things are really out of focus and like one object is in the foreground, and that like made it kind of creepy and cool. Like this, like the shot just stays there. I think that sometimes they were able to make it work to their advantage, and then sometimes it just kind of didn't like pull off and stuff like that. Maddie, what do you got over there as far as your critique? What do you got?
I just think in the culture that we're in now, I found it very unbelievable that the police would just be okay with like a masked vigilante hanging out in all of their investigations, and also like how like chummy Batman is and will always be with the cops, because Commissioner Gordon is like, you know, that's the whole point of that relationship. I felt like I don't know. I think they needed to rehab and workshop that a little bit more because it just didn't work for me in terms of like him, like Mustache Cop. I'm like, yeah, you're cute, but like you're still a cop. Like ACAB includes Mustache Cop. Like unfortunately,
movie, yeah.
And so
it was
really
messed with my ACAB-ness.
it was really like it didn't quite work for me on that level. Especially because, as we know, like they don't know that he's rich, they don't know that he's a Wayne, they don't know anything about him,
right?
And they're just like letting him trump all over investigations, and like, you know, yeah, there's some like nominal like objections made, but like the fact that no one really pulled a gun and shot the dude,
well, like
at any point, at any moment, was kind of like.
Do you want to know what was weird though? And it was one of the, like a friend of mine pointed this out after the second time that I saw it, and it was like, and maybe this, because I got some critique. I think some things could kind of be compressed. I think that it could have maybe lost about 15-20 minutes or something, like just in how you would kind of compress like the murder of Falcone going into the bridges blowing up, like you could, like there could have even been like a thing like where they timed it, you know, like where it's like the gun goes off and then it's like a chain reaction starts and then all hell breaks loose, even though this is kind of this element of the story. I think there's a little bit of that could be said, but I think one of the big things, am I going to lose my train of thought? Am I going to forget something? What was I just talking about? I'm so sorry, guys. I'm
propaganda in the Batman.
Yes, needs to cut some time off of Sean's ramblings.
Moving on.
That was a total joke.
No, it's not good. No. But yeah, I think that there's they kind of got at like they definitely hit like the billionaire like kind of critique of just like, it's, you know, the mayor even said like, you know, the Waynes have been doing philanthropy for a long time and you guys haven't been doing that anymore. Like, I don't know why that's not happening, you know, et cetera, so forth. So they had a lot of critique within that. I do think that like, just in this day and age and stuff like that, I think that that's something that would be very interesting and worth addressing about the character, is like kind of his relationship, because there was that one point where, remember when he punches Gordon in the face and then and then he beelines it out of there, and they're like firing at him. And then the next time he just comes out with Falcone,
like everybody's cool with him. Yeah, that's what I didn't get.
Like,
I was like,
for all they know, he still assaulted the fucking police commissioner. You know what I mean?
Or the only explanation is that if Gordon was like, hey, this thing goes all the way up back. Falcone's been the mayor for like 20 years.
Right.
Like if he somehow was able to communicate to the non-corrupt cops what was actually going on, and was like,
right,
I let him punch me in the face.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. Maybe it was in an email. I don't know.
Right.
That's the only thing. I think it's the respect for Gordon that is shielding
sure.
Batman.
I think that's
and
fair.
Like Gordon is always with him when he's walking into these scenes. And it's like,
right.
I think the police respect Gordon so much.
Sure.
I would like
mad at him.
I would like to interrogate that a bit more. Should we continue down this story journey? I would, especially if we have a Harvey. I want to get into that, because you can't have a Harvey and a Batman and a Gordon without talking about it.
Right.
So
yeah, and
I do love this. I love the scenes of him walking into like the crime scene, and it's just like, that's, granted they were very long, but I think I liked it because Pattinson just didn't say a goddamn word, just walked in, was like just kind of slowly looking around.
And I love that movie, and I love this movie brought back the world's greatest detective. Like, that is an integral part of his superhero ability. So the way he was just like, it was funny too, like when the carpet tool like left a blood trail and he noticed it, and like literally nobody else noticed it. I was like, what's going on here? But like, but the way the cop was like, fucking weirdo, and you see his shoulders tense, but he doesn't do anything about it. He just keeps walking. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, okay, okay.
Right.
Okay.
I like we had good.
Oh, that was my favorite line.
That was a great line. I think that was an awesome line from that. And also, don't make it into the renewal fund. I mean, very prescient, like, given, like, because basically, like, the renewal fund, that's another reason why it did, like, he got killed and then it became like a slush fund for the mob and shit like that. You know what I mean? Which is kind of like, that was a detail that I kind of forgot.
Oh my God, Thomas fucking Wayne, you're going to tell Falcone, fuck you, I'm going to the cops to tell on you.
Uh-huh.
You goddamn idiot.
Sure.
You got yourself killed. Also, oh my God, I don't know if I need to go on a rant at some point about how Thomas Wayne is the villain.
I thought you already did.
I don't know when you want me to.
You already did go on that rant.
No, there's 20 more. There's 20 more points.
I don't know if we have the time, Morgan. I don't know if we have the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tune into Morgan's live stream later.
Okay.
No, absolutely.
Sorry, I get it. We got to get to these super chats and stuff.
We got super chats. We got a couple of things. I figure one thing that we can talk about. We kind of talk about the things that we have going on for the sequel prediction, and maybe we can kind of roll this in. We can roll this in with the other thing, but these will kind of go by quick. But let's talk about the sequel, assuming that this does get a sequel and stuff like that. What?
I think it's getting a sequel.
I think so too. I think so. No, I think that they're pretty bought into it, and I think that there's a lot of goodwill. And I think that
but nobody making the movie knew or necessarily wanted a sequel. They just wanted to make a story. And they were like, I hope it gets a sequel, but I don't actually know if it's gonna. I'm not interested in that right now. I'll tell that story when we get there.
Right.
I'm not sure if that's right. They set up so many actors.
I mean, that was Matt Reeves' own words. So like,
right. Oh, well,
you will not spend that much money and not expect a sequel from a DC or Marvel movie.
A Batman movie. You're kind of thinking it. You're thinking in trilogies.
Fair point.
Joker in the
end,
fair
point.
Like this Riddler who's not dead yet. Of course, he's not dead. It's Batman. He never kills anybody. Just gotta be a sequel to that.
I do love the fact that like Penguin, nobody died other than a mobster though. Like
other than extra people in the car car that scene, like 100 people falling in the flood. People died. Like,
no. I mean,
people should die, not dead.
100%. No, but also like the I do love the fact that like the two big rogues gallery guys, like Penguin and Riddler, are still alive and kicking. Like they didn't kill them. You know what I mean? Which can still be instituted into this story in some way. Like I don't know. Let's kick it over to Maddie. What do you think? What do you think they're going to tackle with this sequel?
I want them to tackle Dick Grayson, Bloodhaven. I want them to get into Martha Arkham. I want them to get into Arkham Asylum, and I want them to tackle Harvey Dent. I want them to get Joker, but I don't want I want them to lead up to Joker. Like I read an interview with Matt Reeves where he was like, we actually cut a whole Joker scene where Batman visits Arkham to talk to Joker to try and get the mind of the Riddler. And he was like, I didn't really want to introduce the Joker, like to be like set up a franchise. He was like, I just wanted him to exist already in the world. He and Batman already have a relationship.
Sure.
And that's the context of the sequel that I was talking about, where he was like, I don't care if we get another movie. I just want this to be established as a thing so that you feel like this world is lived in and fleshed out. Like Batman has already met the Joker. They already have a relationship. Maybe we can delve into that in the future, but I'm not looking to necessarily do that in this movie. So that's why it was cut.
I don't know. I absolutely love that. I mean, because I am like, there's a part of me where I'm just like, you know, am I interested in what this world has to say and what has to do with like the Joker? Of course I am. Do I want a little time? Do I want to get into some other kind of avenue because I'm a little jokered out? I'll just say it. I mean, like he's gotten his own movie. One performance is iconic. One performance was dog shit, and one performance was really good in a movie that like I was never that big of a fan of, and so I'm a little jokered out. And it would also stand to reason that leave your biggest foe for the finale of your trilogy potentially. You know what I mean? So
make it like 5 movies, knock it all out. We'll make it happen.
Get them all in there. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think, but yeah, Drace or Navi, what do you got over there for like any type of a sequel, or where do you want to see it go? Where do you think that it could go?
What I can predict, or at least like what I want. So there's a gap in power, right? Like Falcone is gone. So Penguin's going to take over it. Like you can see Penguin like looking over this whole chaos.
Right.
Taking over it. And I'm hoping he plays a bigger role now that he's not a pawn of Falcone. He's by himself. I do hope that he's the next villain. They did set up kind of Joker, but I'm assuming they just kind of show like, oh, he's still there in Arkham. He's there. I heard that the scene they cut off because of Joker, because the person who's gonna play Joker, his brother got drunk and leaked it. That his brother's gonna play Joker.
He literally tweeted it out. They're Irish actors, and his brother, like his brother's name is like Colin or whatever. He's like, oh, like, isn't it fucking wonderful that it's absolutely been confirmed? The brother's been playing the fucking Joker. It's gonna be absolutely fantastic, man. Who's got yourself another pint? Will ya?
Ever. And like I heard that's why they cut that scene, because then it would have been too obvious or something. I don't know.
Right.
But I'm with you, Sean. I'm Jokered out. I don't want him to be a villain. But I would love to see more chaos. I would love to see more vengeance. Let's bring it on. Let's have Bruce finally say, like, I'm not a vengeance, but I'm something else. I'm justice, I'm hope. And Bruce, I want to see Bruce Wayne. I really want to see him over the philanthropy of it. And actually, you saw what the orphanage did. Be better.
Like, what is he gonna do now that he has all the information? Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
You have so much money. You can do so much more besides just fighting people in the dark. You have billions of dollars. Like, don't tell me you can't make it.
You can literally affect the kind of systematic change that keeps these people from committing crimes and becoming villains anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Stop spending that money on your weapons. I love those. I love those Batmobiles, but you can do other stuff with that money.
I think that's well said. And I will say, like, again, the parallel that they drew between the Riddler and Bruce as being just these kind of two sides to the same coin, one with resources, both being what would you call it? Both being like narcissists and stuff like, and very self-involved and very kind of selfish in the way that they're doing in the things that they're doing. One just happens to think that he's fighting for good, and one is trying to bring down this whole system that wronged him. And like how the fact it was really chilling when they took that mask off of one of the copycat Riddlers, and they were like, who are you supposed to be? And they're like, I'm vengeance. And it's just, and that was the moment where he was just like, oh wait, like I'm kind of not that much different than this guy, really. You know what I mean? Like I just happen to sort of be trying to do a little bit of good, as opposed to like, but I'm just as nihilistic. I've been just as nihilistic, and that was what I think. That's kind of the Bruce Wayne of it all, of him kind of learning to heal himself, learning to be. That's what makes it, like, strangely, for being one of the darkest Batman movies, it's the most hopeful, and it has the biggest kind of like hero's heart to it that that I was very kind of surprised, like, to kind of see and stuff like that. So I think that's good. Matt, like, who else needs to do sequel predictions? Who do we got over there? Drace's sequel predictions. What do you got over there? What do you want to see? Maybe.
I mean, I'm such a Court of Owls fan. I think it's the most interesting modern villain. It's, to me, the greatest culmination of all things Batman. And they're sort of setting it up in a way, positing the Waynes as villains, which it's the perfect lead-in, honestly. I think it's great.
And I'm going to piggyback on that and Navi's idea of, like, the Waynes are like the original sin that Bruce has to, like, fix. Because could you imagine a world, the alternate universe, where Thomas Wayne is like, I have this brilliant creative wife who is dealing with mental struggles. Because, like, you saw the decoration of that house. The Arkhams, they were creative. And imagine if he was like running for mayor and he's like, hey, guess what? I go to therapy every week. Himself. He's like, I go to therapy. So then when it comes out that Martha's been in and out, like, she goes to therapy too. We all go to therapy. You don't go to therapy? What's wrong with you?
Oh my God.
And
it would have been
Bruce Wayne. Imagine if he had suffered a trauma, he'd actually know how to respond to it. He's like, oh yeah, we go to therapy.
Novel.
None of this would have happened.
Batman, if he knew how
you would never need Batman.
Right. There we go. No, but I mean, it was, even though that was another thing about the architecture of that house. I remember when we get like the first kind of like wide shot inside of Wayne Manor, I was like, does Dracula live here? Like, it was.
I loved it.
Oh no, I loved it. It was just so no. I loved it too, but it was like comically baroque and kind of like macabre.
Like, I know it's really the funny. Wayne Manor, but I'm sorry, I think that's Martha Arkham all over it.
Oh, that could be. That could be. Absolutely.
The heart of the house.
100%.
She is the heart of the house. She designed those. She's like, these are the chairs I want. I want this big gothic table.
Right.
That bitch, I want to meet that bitch.
There we go. Right.
And
Hopefully,
she can also be a Kane still. So like whatever.
100%. Like just real quick, I think that I love the city flooded. I think that the decentralization of like, I mean, like of a city underwater. I mean, we've seen it. It breeds chaos. It breeds like that type, like upending a system will create that type of a thing. But now we have, but I do want to see a better Batman, a Bruce Wayne who is kind of healed, lead the charge within that whole thing. So I think that's going to happen. And yeah, I'm kind of with Dustin. Like a Court of Owls deal could be so fucking cool. And as far as just like is keeping on like the whole idea of like the system being built, it is at its core like so ingrained into like the criminality of Gotham and shit like that. I think could be really cool. Just real quick before we go, we're gonna get to all the other super chats, and we're still gonna do one more thing, but we just had to say we had to be because she's the MVP of this live stream over here. We just want to say Navi has to go real quick. She's got a restless pooch over there, and we probably she gets into a room with a bunch of fucking nerds over here, a bunch of comic book geeks and shit like that. We're gonna talk for a long time, especially about a Batman movie. But we do have to say, everybody, put a 1 in the chat and say thank you to Navi for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Navi, what do you got going on? Anything to plug or anything like that, or any handles and thing like that you want to throw out to everybody and stuff like that? What do you got going on?
Guys, we are starting up our Super Secret Girls Club back up on the Normies. We are excited. We did our first season. We have second seasons back up. We just Talking Boys just finished their podcast. So if you want to hear the real side of all the Normies, hit us up. We go live every Friday. And beside that, we watch all kind of stuff. Just come watch us.
That's true. Check them out. Navi, on the Normies.
Have you watched Arcane?
Oh, I have not yet. It's on my list.
Call me.
I have so many lists of things to watch. So many.
Oh my God, absolutely. I mean, it happens, but I mean, well, in that stripe, you're gonna go calm that pooch down. You're gonna go watch Arcane right now. So we gotta get you off of the feed and stuff like that. All right,
gotta go.
Thank you.
All right, again, thank you so much, Navi, for joining us. We appreciate you, my dear. All right, everybody, say goodbye to Navi. We're gonna finish up real quick. Appreciate you, my dear. Bye. Oh my God. All right, and so
she's the best.
She's the greatest. I love her. It's like and again, like it is also. We also kind of like, we're into the comics and stuff like that, and it is like it is to I mean, the name of the channel is called The Normies, and it was dope to just be like, listen, she was like, I watch the movies, and that's kind of like a lot of the stuff, and I always love to hear that perspective.
Yeah,
kind of isn't as dug in and stuff like that, and then also just as intelligent and as funny and stuff like that as she is. So yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for Navi for stopping by. But we're gonna keep on rolling right along over here.
Oh wait, we are. I don't have anything left to say about Batman.
You're done?
I was like, I could go for 4 hours.
I think we got ourselves a couple.
Morgan's already put a full 24 hours into this movie just in sitting in theaters. It's just like insanity.
Morgan and I are going to take over the rest of the show. Y'all can go.
There we go, man. Here. Yeah, it's like, well, Reeves and Pattinson expressed interest in doing a Court of Owls sequel as well as Hush at some point. Hopefully this isn't strictly a trilogy that can end with the war of jokes and riddles. I mean, I could definitely see that. I mean, like, I think that, yeah, I want him to sit and stew on it. And I've heard some stuff about like the Penguin show and about like apparently they're doing like a Gotham City Police show or something.
No, it's now Arkham.
It's Arkham now.
Oh, is it Arkham?
It's transitioned into Arkham.
So
thank fuck.
Honestly. Yeah, I mean, right.
I am before we get. I'm really into this whole idea of where like Peacemaker is a great example of like how DC finally figured their shit out. Where like they made a movie that like figured out their characters. It was fun. And they're like, you know what? But we have some side characters we can tell that don't deserve or maybe don't need a full movie. Deserves probably a bad word. But like, maybe we can't figure out how to do a whole movie, but we could do a fun ass show with it.
Right.
I don't know if Arkham's going to be fun.
Well, yeah, right.
I mean, it's going to be fun if you're Harley and Quinn.
For me.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Well, no. And I mean, like, like, so the big one, like the peacemaker of it is Penguin. Like Penguin gets his own fucking show. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm so fucking here for it. I can't
I'm watching the shit out of it.
We definitely say we will definitely be like we will
this
be covering
This Goyle.
This Goyle right here. Oh, what are you showing me right
Oh,
here? Penguin show.
What are you showing me? Oh, Johnny.
What is this? Good cop, bad shit cop?
Oh my god.
So
Everything he says is fire.
It's gold. Yeah. Why did they give Penguin the best lines? I'll never understand. It was kind of similar to our, I think what was a bit of a problem with the Book of Boba Fett, where he got to play the kind of the fun amongst a bunch of serious guys. You know what I mean? Like everybody was very serious, and he got to kind of cut loose in a way. I mean, from the jump, like, hey, sweetheart, what do you like? I've never heard anyone call Batman. Hey, yo, I'm waddling here.
I'm waddling here. I'm waddling.
I'm waddling here.
Yeah,
what are you talking about? Like,
I'm waddling here.
Except for when it's come to like, oh, I am waddling here. Or whatever it is. That's what I want to go over there.
One Penguin waddling.
Two Penguin waddling.
Yes.
But I also like with Penguin, he has this strange code. He has standards. Okay, you do not rat, and he gets very upset about it.
Absolutely.
He's like, murder a woman? You're accusing me of murdering a Goyle? I wouldn't. He's like, I didn't murder no Goyle.
Right.
And it's like, he was so offended. Yeah. And also his sensibilities were offended by the like showing him an awful, horrific crime scene photo.
Right.
I just find him so interesting.
Well, and I think that was, they were thinking ahead because, you know, if you're going to have essentially like a Sopranos kind of take on Oswald Cobblepot, I mean, I think that you need to soften him a little bit. He can't be chopping broads up and fucking dumping them in the harbor or anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard
he was so offended, and I love that about him.
But that's what's so beautiful about the Penguin as a character is he's always like, all the storylines were like, yeah, Oswald Cobblepot for mayor, where you're like, it's kind of like the Lex Luthor of it, where like Lex Luthor is a villain, but he's also kind of right.
Sometimes he helps you.
Yeah, totally. No, and there's just dawned on me. I mean, like, Tony had the ducks. Oz has the penguins.
Get out of here.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Like, there's right the door. You know what
I mean? Like,
you can go.
But no, we'll get through a couple other super chats and then we'll kind of talk.
Oh yeah, we got to do our job.
Yeah, we got to do our jobs over here and stuff like that every once in a while. Who would have thunk it? Who do you think could be the? Oh, wait, I think we went through that one.
Dick Grayson,
Dick Grayson, obviously. Yeah, also, if Dick Grayson's in a circus, maybe there's a killer croc in the freak show. I don't know.
See, okay, so that's going to take us into the next thing, because this is something that I'm always interested, because this is something I've been doing since like before Batman Begins with like my friends come out. It's just like, who do you want to see? Who would you like to cast, etc. So you don't necessarily have to have casting stuff like that, but I'm very interested to see like what villains we would want to see next, and we're going to be getting to that. But so Bruce shouldn't have gotten as hurt as he did if he's going to be walking for this whole movie. Is that
honestly fair point? When he was Pearl suit and got like his shit rocked.
That was so fucking funny though. That was so funny.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
No, honestly, that is a fair criticism of this movie.
Yeah, I mean, no, and he looked like what was it? He looked like what was it? Harry Osborn in fucking Spider-Man 3, like just like ping ponging like through the fucking like underneath the things and shit like that. It was so fucking gnarly.
Bing bong.
Yeah, seriously though. I mean, it was crazy. No, I mean, even though, yeah, I mean, that was like, if anything, it was like, I appreciate kind of like the realistic. You appreciate some of the realistic takes on it, but in a movie that gets kind of a little very comic booky and very like, some of the architecture was very like Burton-esque, was very like Batman the Animated Series-esque. Like it wasn't like just like a Chicago skyline like it sometimes looks like in the Nolan version, shit like that. And so I was like, if there was ever a moment to lean into that iconography of having just some bat wings and shit like that and not a fucking squirrel suit. That was the moment. You know what I mean? But it, like Morgan said, it's kind of endearing and cute.
Maybe
to you
he'll
now.
an upgrade in the next movie. Maybe it'll be like character.
There you go. I could deal with that. I could deal
He's
with
like,
that.
I saw myself in a mirror, and I now want to change my outfit.
I saw some cell phone footage, and that shit looked whack as fuck. I saw myself on a TikTok, and I'm like, I can't do it anymore. You know, we got Jacob over there. I'd want the sequels to reasonably bring in the closer to meta-human rogues without betraying tone. That kind of goes to your whole Killer Croc thing, Morgan.
Is he meta? Yeah, he's just Is he a meta-human, or is he just super strong and he just was born with like a weird face? Like,
see, I think it kind of,
that would be meta. That would be a definition of a meta-human right there.
Okay, because I was like, oh, maybe he just was born super strong and he had a weird face and he decided to file down.
I don't think necessarily
meta-humans are people who are people for all intents and purposes, but have these inexplicable abilities. So
and that will bring us to, and I'll lead the charge on this one because we'll go into our one of our final things over there. Because if you got to pick, and you don't got to pick just one, it's all good. But I would love to know from everybody which villain you guys would like to see this world tackle. So in here, did I spell that right? Did I fuck that up, or is that okay? That's
no, you got it. You got it.
You did it.
Brilliant.
Okay, cool.
Brilliant. You got it.
Wait, no. That's okay.
Oh, it's AI. It's AI.
Oh, is it?
Okay, Sean.
No. I can change it right now. 1 second. I'm going to do it real quick.
That just makes you sick.
Yep.
Right? It just makes you sick.
No, okay, so I don't want there, and this can I will literally accept it. Not that not that you can't be Joker, but like give me literally anything but Joker, because like
anything but Joker. Yeah.
Not to say that I don't think that they'll do a good Joker. I think that I want to see this world's Joker. I just want a little bit of time.
I want Jack Nicholson as Joker's dad.
That would be dope, actually.
It's Pod Napier or whatever the fuck it is. Like, oh Jesus. Well, no, Clayface. I want Clayface.
I would love Clayface.
If it was Clayface, and I want them to do explore to be the opening scene, and it would be that comic where he falls in love with a mannequin.
Yeah.
That could be.
There's
something.
this
I want
comic where
Clayface and Bane from the Harley Quinn DC series. I want those.
Yeah. Oh my god, the actor.
Yeah. Right. Everybody.
Clayface is the actor, and then Bane is just everyone dunks on him.
Everyone in the chat's been talking about, Bautista has been talking about how much he wants to be Bane, and I was like, yeah, give me Bane-tista.
I would be
Bane-tista.
I get down with the Bane-tista. You know what I mean? Like,
you guys are right. You guys are right in the fact that the first movie is a nerdlinger villain. He's a nerdlinger, pencil neck nerdlinger.
Yeah.
We need a tough guy,
right?
For like a movie 2. Because we can't just have, because all my favorite Batman villains are nerdlingers, but you just can't have like Mad Hatter and I don't know who's the Clock King. All my favorite nerds.
Eraserhead.
Right.
all the nerds. Yeah. I need Bane. I need Killer Croc. I need like a tough.
But I'm thinking, the way that you do, because I'm trying to think, like, would they actually? Because I don't know if they could they get away with like a literal like clay monster man? I mean, like, I don't know if they could.
That this is like the CGI is getting so good, and like and also Matt Reeves. Planet of the Apes, that CGI monkey face
looks fucking great.
Made me feel things in my heart.
I don't know.
I feel like Matt Reeves can direct a pile of CGI pixels. He can.
Oh, sure. Oh, no. I don't doubt that. I'm just wondering, in the way that they have posited this world, do we get a point where like a guy has literally been changed into like a clay sludge monster, or do they have to go like the route where it's like, if you needed to make it realistic, he could be an actor, like you could go with like a real like Lon Chaney type of a thing, like a guy who does his own makeup and he's known as like as like a real chameleon or something like that. Like that's a way that you could do it. I mean, I would love to see the character. I think he's so interesting and so tragic, and I would just love to see something like that. And that's a way that you get into the Playboy Bruce Wayne stuff. like they meet each other at like
He's an actor.
Exactly, and stuff like that. And like that's a way that you could kind of get into Bruce's story. At least it seems like that for me. So again, I don't know how the dexterity of like as far as realism, like that this world really is willing to go and stuff like that. So that's my only reservation about it. But also, all I'm just saying, make fucking Timothy Oliphant Two-Face. That's all I'm saying.
John Hamm, though.
Oh, John Hamm could be great.
John Hamm.
I would be fine with either.
Oliphant.
There's a rumor that Oscar Isaac has been in talks.
Ooh,
no,
I like
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
There's a lot of square jawed guys out there that can play.
I love him so much.
But...
I don't know that I could bear him as Harvey Dent because I don't know that I could bear the concept of like wanting to fuck Harvey Dent. You know what I mean?
Well, you just have
like that's the line.
Yeah, I already am.
Dude, it's all right there. Like the Matt Reeves verse could 1,000% do Azrael, like 1,000%.
Oh,
like,
sure.
See, like you don't even.
You're like you don't even know.
You don't even know.
Guys, Azrael could be a show. You know, yes.
It could be.
Shout out to Kevin Lopez. Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, I would take Oscar Isaacson as an Azrael.
I would accept that.
Fun.
I would accept that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Not Harvey Dent. I draw the line at Harvey Dent, but I do accept Azrael.
Right. Killer Croc or King Shark considering a flooded Gotham.
No, Nonaway is my baby and I love him. No, Nonaway is my baby and I love him. King Shark can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Definitely not in the way that. Well,
I've already gotten my peak King Shark that I don't. Well, I've gotten two. I'm greedy. I've had animated
King Sharks. Yes, absolutely.
I don't think Reeves can like top it. I mean, sure he can, but like.
Sure, but
no, I don't think he can.
King Shark's kind of that's already been
Killer Croc, yeah.
Killer Croc,
yes. Killer Croc could be his King Shark.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna just a kid at heart.
I'm gonna put my vote out for Poison Ivy because
who do you want?
I don't know who I want. I want Poison Ivy and I want her to be hot and amazing so that we can push the Margot Robbie, Harley, Zoe Kravitz, Selena, Poison Ivy, Gotham City Sirens movie that we deserve. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
As much as Margot Robbie she is Harley Quinn in my mind. Mm-hmm. I don't know if those universes overlap.
I don't know if they do either, but they could if they wanted them to. They very much could if
they could do it.
I would love to see her.
They're like Peacemaker in Matt Reeves' Gotham.
Not Peacemaker, but I would love to see like Margot Robbie in a Matt Reeves film.
Yeah.
I think she's
just hook her in there.
I think she's good enough. Not that she wasn't good in the other thing, but I think that she could.
Would she just do a different Harley?
I think she could tweak it enough, but also I think she could kind of just do what she's already doing.
I'm thinking Sonoya Mizuno for Pamela. Could also be Kiko Mizuhara. Could also be like I'm just vibing. Like could be Tessa Thompson perhaps.
Right.
Like just give me hot and give me evil. That's all I need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
you know what? There was a Tana in there.
Boing.
Let's get some Tana in there. Let's do some magic.
Let's just get it horny.
Let's do magic. Zatanna that's what just crashing this movie. Yes, absolutely.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like
up close magic.
Right. A grounded Pamela Isley poisoning Gotham's elite with plant extract.
She wouldn't be a main villain. She would just be a springboard for like the Gotham City Sirens franchise.
Sure.
I mean,
as far as like Margot Robbie, like I think that. Well, I will say this. I mean, like I do think that with the Flash movie, they are gonna like DC, like certain wings of DC is want to do to just basically cut through the red tape of doing a bunch of buildup and just do a thing that Marvel just did, which is kind of what they're doing with the Flash. And I am excited to see Keaton kind of be in there and to have some of the Batman 89 stuff. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And I think Ben and Affleck's and Batfleck is going to be in that movie as well. So there could conceivably be in this universe, there could conceivably be a Margot Robbie like looking, a Margot Robbie-ish like Harley Quinn within this universe. They absolutely could. I think that they would have to tweak a little bit of the tone and some of the performance, I think, to fit
Just
or
let
whatever.
Samara Weaving do it.
They have the same face.
Oh, she can be, she can be a little baby face for sure. Absolutely.
Honestly, I would take Margaret Qualley as Harley Quinn as well.
Oh,
Samara Weaving? Did we say Samara Weaving?
We did say Samara Weaving.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but like no, Margaret Qualley was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She was
she had her feet on the dash and stuff like that. I think she could do it good. I think she could for sure.
I think she could do it too.
That's a great, and she's very tiny and shit like that too. Which
and she's young and new and fresh.
Right.
I think if you're looking for like fresh, like new actresses or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Freeze, please. Which Matt Reeves has
Christmas
said.
Movie, huh?
Oh no, Matt Reeves has said that he likes Mr. Freeze, like he'd like to do something like that, which I think
I would like to see his Mr. Freeze. I would like to see his Nora Freeze. I would like that a lot.
Oh
sure.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no, a Mr. Freeze Christmas Batman movie.
Oh, that could be great.
He loves the animated series, and like Mr. Freeze shit was like the peak of the animated series.
Absolutely. I remember that back in the day.
On me.
I think he's a little too old for it, but I remember for the longest time I wanted Ben Kingsley to play Mr. Freeze. In the way that they do it in the animated series, like he could play.
Mm-hmm.
He could. I mean, it's one of those things where I think he can.
I just want to throw some like fucking with John Bernthal on here. Who would he play? Who would he play?
The Punisher guy.
Yeah.
I see. Well, maybe it's just because I think of him. I also think of Punisher, and I think of Wolf of Wall Street. Oh, Deathstroke could be solid. I can see that. I mean, like it's Punisher-esque. I think of him as a gangster. I think of him as like the son of Falcone or something like that. Even though I think it was a daughter. I think like in the last one.
You know what? I could see him as a Hush. I could see that.
Right.
It's a stretch.
Right.
I can see it.
You can see
Everybody's yelling Deathstroke.
Deathstroke would be it's like clearly like why would you not? I mean like a trigger happy like madman. Duh.
Yeah.
Right. We've already done that. I like Stanley Tucci for Mr. Freeze. I can give the Tucci a run at it. He looks good bald.
Give me the Tucci.
What? Tooch it up.
Tooch it up, man. Get him in
up.
there.
Let's just get Picard in there.
Let's get Tucci with it.
Let's just get Picard.
He's 8 million years old.
Star Trek. Wait,
God.
You mean TNG lands?
TNG lands, and we have Sir Patrick Stewart.
Jean-Luc Picard walks
rescues the dog from the Batman first movie, and then he becomes Mr. Freeze.
So I need Matt Reeves. If anybody knows Matt Reeves, can you please ask him? Okay, canonically, is that dog okay?
Yeah, I'm trying. Well, I mean, I think the thing is that I am like I'm definitely excited to kind of see where they go with it, and I do like the whole like was that Batman New World? Was that Scott Snyder run where like there was a flooding of Gotham and like they kind of got decentralized and like the boroughs the boroughs get separated. Like this is like Two-Face's territory, and this is the Riddler's territory. It's almost like it's like a weird
kind of did that in Harley Quinn.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
The animated.
They sort of took that and it's a really cool concept where it kind of makes it's like it's almost like Escape from New York, but Batman, which is kind of dope, you know, like there's some cool shit that they could do with that whole concept for sure. Bernthal could be a great Two-Face. I mean, I think
I would like to see it.
Give me any square-jawed motherfucker in there to be Two-Face. Basically, is essentially what we're saying over here. I think he's saying it was year zero. I think which was like a cool. I remember that was a really cool run, and like the flooding of Gotham was like a really interesting idea. And I do love how like contemporary Matt Reeves is kind of taken like a lot of his things because it was very Long Halloween, and like I think it's just because of how he looks. I was thinking of Hush, even though this wasn't like a Hush storyline necessarily or whatever. Even though
the bandages versus
that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? The cling wrap that they had, you know, and all that shit that they had going on and stuff or whatever. So I don't know. I think that there's a lot of I think I'm gonna say right now, I think that it's a really, really strong Batman movie, and like one that is, I think, this to me hits the mark as far as like a movie that is really, truly about Batman. You know what I mean? Like in a way that I think that like Batman Begins like was and stuff like that. And I think that movie's I think it's a good Batman movie, but this one just really gets it. And it gets all these other details that I really kind of love and have craved to see in a motion picture for a long time. So I don't know, man. I think that we've gotten through all the super chats and everything like that, right? Did we miss any? I think we got everybody.
Let's get eyes on
I think we
it.
did. I think we did. So anyway, I just want to say, oh my god.
Somebody said Bruce loves to make everyone piss themselves in terror. That's hilarious.
Oh, hold on. Let me see. Wait.
Jacob also agrees with me that he's a virgin. He said that his peeping feels like a virgin thing.
No. Oh, no. I will say. I mean, like, I think there's huge parallels between them. I mean, because there's both like moments where we're looking, because remember the opening of the movie, like where you can hear him like breathing and stuff like that, and it's just watching that.
It's Batman.
You think it's Batman, and then when you flip it, and it's basically like Rear Window, but with Batman like watching Selena get like undressed and get ready and shit like that, you know.
Problematic, but I was like, honestly, not mad because like
he would do it though.
For some reason, he would do it, and for some reason, I'm like, I don't think he's getting off on this. He's literally such a detached virgin that like he's just literally just recording to make sure to find out where she's going, and I was just like, this is really inappropriate, but also like I don't think he's
right. I mean,
even though he's feeling feelings,
there was like some fucking big incel energy with some of the stuff that he was doing, like because he was clearly like butthurt about the fact that like Selena may have had sex with some of these guys and stuff
when
like
he was slut shaming her.
Absolutely,
no, him, and that's why someone described that. Him and the Riddler's final like monologue scene. It's like it wasn't a window; it was a mirror.
Yeah,
they were both looking at each other.
100%.
It's like traumatized orphans just totally misunderstanding what was happening for themselves and like freaking out about it. And I was,
here it is. Crispin Glover is Victor Freeze. I mean, 15 years.
No, I was saying Scarecrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see
he would be a better Scarecrow.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I just want to say it's been an absolute pleasure to talk with y'all about this. It's been fun to have
2 hours, man.
I know. Well, no, I mean, yeah, we only
and I've loved every moment of it.
Right? Absolutely. No, absolutely. And that was the same thing with this
2 hours and 4 ciders later. Like
I got my claw over here for sure. So but again, it's been really awesome. And like here, like hold on real quick, like he had way more incel vibes. I think
they're both incels. They're both incels.
100%.
They're a mirror.
That's the point. Yes.
Yeah, I think that that's the whole point. And I think that it was making it so this is the best, like really truly Batman centered like film about Batman that I think that we've gotten. I think it can be argued that maybe there's some other movies that are better, et cetera, so forth. But as far as like a Batman movie, this is one of the best, if not the best. And I had a really, really great time. We got Trey. Ain't no law when you're drinking. Ain't no law against it, Trey. You know that shit for sure, dude.
Not in New Gotham.
Listen,
not in New Gotham, man.
I would like to say to my cider homies.
Oh, there we go. The mango.
El Chavo Mango.
El Chavo.
Dude.
No habla español, fellas.
Yay.
Hey, it's La Chavo.
La Chavo.
What are you talking about over here?
What are you talking about?
Sorry, the worst fucking Spanish I've ever heard.
Right. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna break your brain. So one of my liquor reps at the bar, take the El Chavo and put a shot of mezcal in it. It is so
sounds
good.
tasty.
They don't even sell this here. I have to order this shit from Wisconsin. They don't sell it here.
You do that do it like a bomb. Like do an El Chavo with a shot of mezcal.
I know the next con that we find ourselves with Maddie.
Are you encouraging her to do drops?
Yes. I'm a drop head, baby. Good to know. I'm a drop head.
Dude, love a fake drug. Love a fucking fake drug.
I want to do drops really bad.
Oh, here, hold on one
Anyone
second.
wants to hook
Like, I heard the Dave Bautista expression. Yeah. We were talking about that. I think that could be fun. I mean, like, I think it could be cool. I mean, I want something really new. That's kind of why I'm sort of in Killer Croc, Clayface, maybe a baby doll or something like that. Any type of like that.
I want baby doll, but I don't know how we would do it. But I want her handler. I want baby doll, but I mostly want her handler. Right. Like, it's a good job. It's a good job. God,
here we go. One critique. We didn't get enough. We didn't get enough on the drops in the movies. I don't know. I think it's fine. It's just kind of a drug. It's just sort of like a comic booky type of drug.
I look forward to them being weaponized in future movies.
Oh, 100%.
No, it also totally showed like a weak spot in Gordon and Batman, where like Gordon is this upstanding, like ethical man, and yet he still dismisses like people who are like struggling as just dropheads.
Right.
And I hope the second movie explores that of like, like dropheads are humans.
Bruce being the ultimate humanist, and even possibly switching over Gordon's I guess like his ethos.
Selena was like, I hate dropheads, and I'm like, these are like people, and I think that's setting up something for Batman to the Batman.
Yeah, definitely. So. I mean, I think a really fucking solid movie, a really solid live stream. I really enjoyed hanging out with all of y'all. Everybody in the chat, everybody who threw down and shit like that, over in the super chats, and just in general in the chats as well. You guys like this one really I had a lot of fun with, and definitely look forward to doing a bunch of others. This is kind of like how we can sort of like cover movies and stuff like that now, is to kind of like do that type of shit. So I don't know. I just want to say we appreciate y'all out in the chat. We appreciate you, Draces. Maddie, where can people find you? You can tell everybody where they can find you over there. Give a couple. Hey, drop a couple of those fucking links and those couple of those things. There we go. For sure.
Well, you can find me at Maddie K Ultra on Instagram. You can find me streaming at Hillbilly Eilish on Twitch. I play a lot of League of Legends, so you should check out Arcane. And you can find me doing the damn thing with these jokers on occasion. So I don't think this will be the last you'll see of me. So
no, not by a long shot.
I'm just happy y'all are here and throwing down with the money and the peak takes and the hot takes.
I'm loving it.
The great comments. Like, I was just thinking while we were watching this, like, there's so many, like, we have such smart viewers who are like so into it. Like, it's so great. I love it.
No, it's crazy. It blows my mind. What makes me go back and watch the streams again with the live chat replay, so I can kind of see all the stuff that I missed and everything like that. So again, shout out to the real ones out in the chat and everything like that. Like chat, like super chats or otherwise. We appreciate y'all for keeping it lit over here and everything. I just want to say we appreciate y'all very much for hanging out. Hit us up on patreon.com if you want to get some cool, sweet. We got ourselves a Batman centered exclusive podcast that we do called Batman versus Everyone, where we take Batman the animated series and we put it up against another like a classic or a contemporary cartoon that the fucking patrons get to vote on, and we pick a theme, and then we pick like the two different episodes for that theme, and then we kind of measure them up and stuff like that, and we review them. It's a shitload of fun. It's one of my favorite things that we do that we don't even put out. It's like it's only for the patrons that they get over there and stuff like that. It's one of my favorite things that we do. So if you guys want to get that and a bunch of other content, we're going to be doing a shitty movie night for Batman Forever, which having the new Riddler.
It's gonna be called a movie night, Sean. It's just it's not that shitty.
That movie fucking sucks, dude. But it's great. but it's great. A movie. Two thoughts of the two.
I call it Terabad when it's so good. It's
exactly.
It's terrible. It's Terabad.
That's what I think it is. Yeah, and so it's iconic in its own way.
That's how I feel about Twilight.
What's that?
That's how I feel about Twilight.
Absolutely.
It's
100%. Absolutely. Yeah.
Terabad.
Yeah. Also, you guys should watch all of our schmommentaries on Twilight.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
just like,
we did a reaction.
Reaction.
Yeah, for sure. So we got a lot of stuff over there that you guys can get at over on our Patreon. So consider heading on over there. But we appreciate y'all for hanging out.
And shout out to Michael Giacchino also as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude.
We didn't even talk about
no, we fucking didn't even talk about it.
He was my runner-up. He was my runner-up for MVP.
I was so dazzled by Zoe, I forgot to even mention him.
No,
shout out to my boy.
You want to know what it was? Because there were so many moments. Like we're just keeping the stream going again. But it was the cool thing was that it was The thing was that there were so many moments where just nobody was talking and the score was just kind of leading you on just to listen to the fucking music and shit. It was so good. But anyway, we got to stop talking about this here picture, y'all. So we're going to take it easy. Y'all take it easy, sweethearts. You guys take it easy. We'll talk to you later. Johnny's